Coffee in Tow is an interactive world news podcast, a dynamic and engaging live show that streams across multiple internet radio stations worldwide. This podcast brings you real time news updates, in depth analysis, and interactive discussions on global events, making you a part of the conversation no matter where you are. With a diverse range of expert guests and listener participation, it's your go to source for staying informed and connected to the world. Coffee in Tow is brought to you in part by Lormel Skin Food. Log on to lormelskinfood.com. Discover the range of natural skincare solutions. Indulge in the radiance of natural and organic beauty with the best natural and organic soap bars, whipped soaps, body butters, and oils. All 100% natural products. Lormel Skin Food for a natural, beautiful you. The world's best coffee from our farms to your cup. It's Grand Coffee House. And I am with you, YouTube. Happy Monday, Mad Libran. Happy Monday, RoSolo. I know you were busy this weekend, and I hope you are able to get some rest in.
Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Well, things didn't go as I planned this weekend. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah, so they pushed it back to Tuesday.
Okay.
So, I'm at Airbnb now. And I'm taking it. I'm receiving it. I'm just very excited for the new chapter. Yeah. So,
Yay!
it's like pulling teeth here trying to get a place. It really is. And then once you get it, it's like pulling teeth to get in because they have all these requirements. And the
Mhm.
last time I moved, it was during the pandemic. So everything was automatic. You know, we didn't have to see anyone, meet anyone, go in office and sign anything. So it's very different. But
Mhm.
I'm grateful. I'm grateful and I feel blessed. But I'm exhausted. I had to put everything back in storage
Mhm.
to go ahead and probably move it back out again this weekend sometime or this week sometime. So um,
Ah.
my body is feeling my age, but I'm still grateful.
You say I feel your ears. Your ears are
Hmm.
come out.
Listen, moving is no joke. Let me tell you something. No joke.
I
You
know.
know, like,
Child, I know.
and I have packed and moved like several times since last May, so I am ready to be in a space where I don't have to do it
You
much
don't.
anymore for a while. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
But thank you.
happy to have you here with us. And
Yeah.
the the good thing in all of it is that things are working out favorably.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely, and I'm
Yeah.
grateful for that.
Yeah.
And I will not discount my blessings. So thank
No,
you.
not at all. Not at all.
Yes,
Thank you so much, Rosolo. All right, folks, do not forget to subscribe to the Coffee in Tow YouTube channel. And guess what? You can watch us here live while you listen on whatever streaming platform you're listening on, whatever station you're listening on, whether it's QMZ, Jano Radio, or Mad Music House, right? Yeah, you can spread yourself. You can multitask. Okay, so Matt Libran says they were slammed with snow over the weekend up there in Canada. Yes, you were up in the Northeast, the States too. Um, as you're talking about Canada, Matt Libran, so very interesting what's going on between Canada and the US. Canada is such a peaceful country. They don't trouble nobody, they don't pick no argument, they mind their own business. So on behalf of the US, I sincerely apologize to everyone up there in Canada that you are being dragged into some hot mess. You know, I know y'all want to continue just living your peaceful lives, enjoying your maple syrup, heading on out to Niagara Falls, picking apples along the way as you go by the trees that are lined with, these streets are lined with apple trees. You just pull over. You just want to live. you know, and enjoy life. No, sir. Them I can't draw on in a one bag of kete kete mix up and blender. Whew. Me I beg you, do, don't turn off the power pan New York. We got people up in New York. We got our fam up there in New York. Yeah, me I beg you, do not turn off the light pan them. Do not cut that off. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. As always, we kick it off in the Caribbean corner. You know, that's where all good things begin, in the Caribbean. And before I forget, there is a great deal for you folks. I needed to head on over to www.grantcoffeehouse.com. And guess what's going to happen? You are going to be able to enjoy 20% off all coffee products. Yes, all you got to do is use the code coffeeinto20 at checkout. Yes, let me say that again. Enjoy 20% off all coffee products by heading on over to grantcoffeehouse.com and use the code coffeeinto20. All right. Grant Coffee House, one of our sponsors. Yes, and they are extending their they're being gracious, yeah, and allowing us to enjoy 20% off all coffee products. All right. So go ahead and jump on that, take advantage of that. First story, first order of business. Let me copy this and pin it on YouTube. US and Jamaica, I guess they're strengthening ties, huh? US and Jamaica air travel gets a remarkable boost as Delta adds a fifth daily Atlanta flight. Wow, to drive growing tourism. I guess more people want to get out of the US. More people want a break. I'm like, you know what? We can't do this. We need a break. We need a break. We need a break. Well, according to travelandtourworld.com. Oh, before I do this, we're going to say send up prayers and well wishes to our lovely Jati, one of our co-mods here with us on Coffee and Joe. Uh, she's having a procedure done, and we're sending up prayers for her, well wishes, all the love, all the support for her, that everything goes well. All right. Okay. So back to this one. Travelandtourworld.com is reporting Delta Airlines enhances US and Jamaica connectivity with a fifth daily flight from Atlanta, driving tourism growth and offering travelers more convenient options. Delta Airlines has strengthened its commitment to connecting Atlanta and Jamaica by adding a fifth daily flight to its schedule. This newly introduced service departs from Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport at 5:59 p.m. and lands in Montego Bay at 8:52 p.m. The latest addition increases Delta's total daily flights between Atlanta and Jamaica to five, with four of those servicing Montego Bay and one serving Kingston. This development marks another milestone in fostering robust air connectivity between the United States and Jamaica, a critical aspect of tourism and economic development for the Caribbean nation. You know, I have a question on this, RoSolo. I don't know if you can talk. I hope you can talk. But this is something that is puzzling me with this, right? Um, I'm here for the late check-in, but do you still have to check out early? You know, checkout is usually by what time again at hotels?
About
Early?
11ish. Yeah, 11.
11. Yeah. So, and check-in is usually what time?
It
Around
was 3 or
3
4.
or 4. You don't think that's a wickedness?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I don't
Trust
like
me,
that.
right now, in this moment, right now,
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
Because you're paying for a day, but you can't check in to take advantage of the full day.
Exactly.
And then you pay for another day at the end, but you only get to enjoy a
They
couple
don't, yes.
hours.
And if some places don't have late checkout, so you have to call, and it's very frustrating. Very, very
Yeah. Me
frustrating.
not like that. Me not like that
Mm.
at all.
I've
I
I've
would,
never liked that. I've never liked the check-in at 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And I get most of them say it's because they're cleaning the rooms and whatever else. You have other rooms that are
yeah.
clean.
Yeah. I
You
saw
have
me
other
see
rooms
it
that are
too.
clean. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then if I'm in the room, then give me till the time I need because you're not going to clean the room before 3, 4 o'clock with those that are checking out. You're not going to do. They're not going to get to all the rooms before 3, 4 o'clock, and people are going to naturally check out early because if you're traveling, you may check out earlier than 11. So there
Right.
will be rooms that are available. You will know when people check out their room. Leave the ones that want to stay in their room till the 3, 4 o'clock to make it a full day.
Mm-hmm.
Leave them in their rooms to stay in there. But yeah, it's very frustrating. It's very
Yeah,
frustrating.
I
I think it's
always have
unfair.
issues with it. Yeah, I don't like
Yeah.
it. For example, when we were in New York last year, checkout was 11. However, we left early because we had to head to the airport. So we were out of there by 7 o'clock. So they make money off of we. And
Oh,
all
absolutely.
hotels make money off of you.
Absolutely. Absolutely, they make money.
Yeah.
Absolutely, they make money, and they make a lot of money. It's not like they make a
Yes.
little bit. It's a lot of money.
Yeah. Yeah. In this case though, back to this article with
Mm.
the flight leaving Atlanta at 5:59 p.m. and heading into Montego Bay at 8:52, chances are, depending on where on the island you're staying, if you are staying in Ocherous, for example, you're not getting to the hotel until like 11 o'clock at night. Possibly by the time you go through customs and immigration and then you get on the
What time did
bus.
this flight
The
arrive? What time?
flight arrives in Montego Bay at 8:52 p.m. Call it 9
Oh,
o'clock.
wow.
So you're not reaching the hotel before 11, 12 o'clock, possibly. Yeah, and then you've missed what? From 4 o'clock, let's say check in 4 o'clock. You've missed from 4 o'clock to 12. 8 hours that? Do we get it back on the flip side? That's all I want to know. But
No, we don't. We don't get back on inside. No.
happy Monday, Sula. Happy Monday, Tasha. Hope you all had a wonderful weekend. All right, moving on to our next article in the Caribbean Corner. I'm going to learn to behave myself. I don't know, probably not this lifetime. Don't hold your breath. But I'm aspiring to learn to being a better person. I truly am. All right. So in our next article, Throne Speech, 6 new hotels, 1,000 housing solutions for tourism workers. This article, courtesy of JamaicaObserver.com. The construction of 6 new hotels totaling 5,600 rooms and housing solutions for 1,000 hotel workers will commence during the current fiscal year. This was revealed on Thursday by the Custos of St. Anne, Stedman Fuller, as he delivered the 2025 throne speech at Gordon House under the theme Jamaica's Next Chapter Aspiring to Greatness. The throne speech outlines the government's priorities for the new parliamentary year. Fuller noted that when completed, this will bring direct foreign, or I should say, bring foreign direct investment of US $2.5 billion and 10,000 new jobs to the tourism sector. He also stated that the revolutionary tourism workers pension scheme has now surpassed 10,000 registrations and savings under investment of $4 billion. This success reflects strategic planning, robust partnerships, and a focus on sustainability and inclusivity. He also pointed to the Tourism Innovation Incubator administered by the Tourism Enhancement Fund, which he said fosters groundbreaking ideas, including virtual reality tours and health and wellness tourism. Additionally, the Artisan Village, which was opened in April 2024. I want to go there. Next time I'm back in Jamaica, I want to go check out the Artisan Village in Falmouth, Trelawney. That was opened in April 2024, celebrating Jamaican culture and creativity, incorporating augmented reality to enhance visitor experiences and directly benefit local artisans. The Custos said the government was committed to reshaping tourism through digital transformation, automating licensing, applications, and training access to boost efficiency and stakeholder engagement. Also, culinary tourism with the Montego Bay Convention Center, Gastronomy Institute. Also, market diversification targeting Latin America, Asia Pacific, and the Middle East, while expanding African American engagement in the United States. These initiatives are backed by expanded airlift capacity and dynamic marketing by the Jamaica Tourist Board. So of course, tourism investments continue to show strong growth. Now, what I'm not seeing here in the article is yes, the headline says 1,000 housing solutions for tourism workers, but the article does not expand or expound on that part of the headline. And I was hoping to hear more about the housing solutions. And I'm going to be very facetious. The reason I am wanting to hear more about these housing solutions for tourism workers, are these housing solutions going to be permanent or temporary? And if you were with us last week, you'll understand why I'm saying temporary. Because last week we spoke about the social housing project. Um, and to qualify for a social house, you had to show ownership of land, right? So you would take your title, proof of ownership of said land, to the parish council, I mean, down to the poor relief office, right? And the poor relief office will do the necessary work on the back end so that eventually it results in a structure, a concrete structure being put up on your home, on your land, right? But what was disturbing for me in all of that was Desmond Mackenzie's utterances in two separate occasions, right? And I say two separate occasions because at first when the announcement was made, there was people were like, "Huh? Why is that?" So I own this land. You build a house on the land, but when I die, it goes back to the municipality. So what happens to the land? I have lost my land. My generations have lost said land. And I think that's clear, very unfair. Now, I remember playing a part two of said video on YouTube. And there was a doubling down of that. I build a house, but you now own the house, even though I feel land. So your family is going to lose access to the land. And I remember saying, knock down the house because nobody now get my land. But then again, we don't know what's in the fine print. The fine print is what we don't know. And it has to be in there somewhere that you are agreeing to turn over your land upon death and your family out of the road. I don't agree with that. My preference would be for you to set up a 1% mortgage, if anything can go so. But yes, I think it can work. A 1% mortgage guaranteed by the government of Jamaica. I'm going to rather pay for the house little. Me and my family come together and pay for this house little, so that upon my death, it will not go to government. If I'm making sense, right? So now, when we talk about the 1,000 housing solutions, I'm going to bring it back. There is not clarity. I'm not seeing clarity. Are these housing solutions going to be given lock, stock, and barrel to the tourism workers, or and that's what I mean when I say permanent, that they will hold it forever and ever, amen, be able to pass it on, will it to their generations or relatives, or upon death or upon retiring, will they have to vacate the housing solutions? I would like more information on this. Custos Fuller, either you or Desmond Mackenzie or Edmund Bartlett, but I want some more clarification because this is like a brush over. What does it mean for me as a worker within the tourism sector who may stand to benefit through whatever the prerequisites are, whatever the qualifiers are? I may be able to benefit from this housing solution, but I need the details. Am I asking for too much? I don't think so. So while it's nice to see to the headline, while it's nice to pique people's interest, it would be nicer for more details. That's all I'm saying. All right. Um, next up, wait for me. Guyana may have a head start, but Suriname is making strides with its offshore block. Okay, make we get into this one. Boy, the new hot girls of the Caribbean are down on the south, in South America. Hmm, This article, courtesy of rbnenergy.com. Suriname has been a very minor crude oil producer over the past few decades, with minimal output from its onshore reserves. But with more than a dozen offshore blocks already awarded for development and production, set to spike in the coming years, the small South American nation looks primed to follow in the footsteps of its next door neighbor, Guyana, which is amid an oil production boom. In today's RBN blog, we'll look at the status of Suriname's offshore developments, the major players involved, and what we know about the crude grades to be produced there. In the first blog in the miniseries, Wouldn't It Be Nice? It was highlighted how Guyana has been a rising star in the global crude market, even if it's only a recent entrant. The offshore Stabroek block, gold shaded, which is churning out more than 650 million barrels of oil. Wow. From three projects. Oh, no, if they said this right, this can right. Can be per day, 650 barrels per day of oil from three projects in the reserve rich Guyana's Suriname Basin, with the possibility that production in Guyana's territorial waters could double by the end of 2027. But Guyana is not the only country planning to develop the basin's reserves. The Guyana Suriname Basin stretches across three countries on the Atlantic coast of South America, and those three countries are Guyana, Suriname, and French Guiana. Suriname has been extracting crude oil from the onshore portion of the basin since the 1980s, but the former Dutch colony wants to raise its profile as a petroleum supplier, mirroring its neighbor's success. According to Suriname's state owned State Soli, authorities struck oil in 1965, but commercial oil production only began 17 years later in 1982. Okay. Offshore E&P activity in Suriname perked up after ExxonMobil made a significant find in 2015. What am I saying? 2015? In 2015, sorry, in Ghana's portion of the Ghana Suriname Basin. All right, so now there are two tenders or bidding rounds that have been held since 2020, offering 19 offshore blocks. Wow. But hold on, I need to find out. So, okay, these are the people I'm interested. This is where I want to head down to. So here we have Suriname's Shallow Water Block Awards. Chevron, Shell, Paradise Oil, Total Energies, Qatar Energy International, okay, Petro China. Interesting. It all sounds good that we have all these international companies interested and invested. But of course, I want more information. I need more information. I'm not satisfied with just seeing the names and all of this. Oh, also Hess is there. BG International is there. I forgot to mention. What I want to see is the fine print, the terms. What's the contract looking like? What's the fan print looking like? How does Suriname stand to benefit financially? Are these companies paying taxes, royalties? And if they are, is the amount that they're paying sufficient, truly beneficial? And we understand these companies are investing all the equipment and what have you. We get that. But not because you're investing all this equipment. Remember, you're going to be there for a while. Should it mean that you're going to shortchange my country, my people? That's all I'm saying. All right. So sounds good and all of that. But what I'm looking for, I'm not seeing in the article. I'm sorry, I'm scanning and I'm not seeing what I want to satisfy my curiosity. So we'll keep it moving. All right, now it is time for us to go down Pandebal Field. Yes, sports news out of the Caribbean corner. A probe reveals Usain Bolt's missing millions never reached SSL account. But what is not this? And we have two articles surrounding Usain Bolt. Another one, I'm still Jamaican. Usain Bolt reflects on financial struggles and making more money by moving out of home country. Wow. But all right, let's start with the first one where he says that where this article says that the money never made it to SSL. So where the money there? Pray tell. Let's read and find out if we can connect the dots. So, according to SportsMax.tv, a high level probe into the missing US $12 million investment by Jamaican sprint legend Usain Bolt at Stocks and Securities Limited, SSL, has revealed that a significant portion of his funds never made it into his account at the brokerage firm. According to a report, excuse me, Miss Shakpan, I can't even read. According to a report from Nationwide News Network, international forensic investigators, including UK-based Kroll Associates, have uncovered that Bolt's principal investment was stolen before it ever reached his SSL account. The revelation adds a new layer of complexity to the already grim outlook for Bolt's chances of recovering his money. According to NNN, sources indicate that Bolt's management team was deceived with fake invoices and account updates sent by Jean Ann Panton, the former SSL employee now facing multiple fraud charges. These falsified documents led Bolt's team to believe that his investment had not only been securely placed at SSL, but was also growing in value over time. The Triple N report said investigators have determined that the bulk of the money sent by Bolt for investment never actually reached an SSL account, raising serious concerns about the extent of the fraud and the potential for restitution. This finding has cast major doubt over whether the Sprint icon will ever see the return of the substantial sum he had been led to believe was accumulating. Meanwhile, the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions is still awaiting further documentation from the Financial Investigations Division before making determinations on whether additional individuals from SSL will face criminal charges. The documents are expected to provide key evidence in assessing whether there is enough proof to prosecute other individuals connected to the massive fraud. Jean Panton has already been charged and is before the court, having allegedly confessed to orchestrating fraudulent activities involving multiple client accounts over several years. In the wake of the scandal, Bolt revealed that he had dismissed a member of his management team who was responsible for overseeing his investments at SSL. Speaking on the popular podcast, The Fix, earlier last week, Bolt expressed his growing frustration with the sluggish pace of the investigation into his missing funds. He firmly believes that the Jamaican government can and should do more to facilitate the return of his investment, emphasizing that it holds the key to a resolution. With these latest revelations, Bolt's battle to reclaim his fortune remains uncertain as investigators continue to piece together the extent of the fraud and the potential avenues for justice. When did this break again? What year? Was it last year or the year before? Listen, I'm not drag this thing out. Number one, I will say this, Bolt. We cannot hold the government responsible for reimbursing you. We cannot. Because if we hold the government responsible for reimbursing you in full, the government will also have to reimburse every single Jamaican who at some point has been defrauded by any financial institution. And it would look a way for them to single you out because of your status, your fame, your being a legend and all of that. It would not be fair for you alone to be reimbursed and nobody else gets that kind of thing. Also, another thing we have to remember when we're investing in any company, even if it's a major financial institution, everything we do is a risk, right? Let us say you have $10 million in your bank account. I forgot what the amount is in Jamaica. But let us say you have $10 million in your bank account. You're only guaranteed up to a certain amount reimbursement. And that is with any financial institution that ensures the deposits of account holders. I hope I'm making sense, right? So let us say the cap is 250,000. You could have $250 million. All you're guaranteed to get back, hoping everything is well with the with the insurance, but all you're guaranteed to get back is probably like $250,000. That's it. Or 2.5 million, whatever the amount is. You saw it sound harsh, but count your lucky stars if you're able to reclaim or get back more of that, more than that. All right. So whether it's a boutique investment firm, which SSL is, or if it's a major financial institution like NCB, Bank of Nova Scotia, Victoria Mutual, any of those banks, understand putting your money in any financial institution, yard or foreign, it comes with the probability that you can lose. All right? No, now that's out the way. Let's run a paper trail here. Who conducted the transaction at the financial institution where you extracted the $12 million? Was it supposed to be a wire transfer, bank to bank transfer? Or was it like in old time days when I was in banking back in the 90s, where you go to your commercial bank, you have a bank draft done up in the name of the receiving financial institution, and you attach with it a memo as to what is to happen with these funds. Now, let us say it's a bank to bank transfer. Who initiated it? Who went into the originating institution? Well, you must have record of that. You have to have record of that. Who handled the transaction at that point? You start there. Are there any signatures affixed, attached to anything? You trace that. Oh, no, I have camera too, not true. Hopefully the cameras are working and we have recorded data. No, all right. So it never made it to SSL. Let us say it was an actual. No, hold on. Let me not leave the wire transfer. So it bank to bank transfer. It leave account A in the name of. It have to go to account B in the name of. So whose account did it go into? Did it make it to SSL at all? And if it made it to SSL, there is confirmation of receipt from SSL via bank to bank transfer. There's an electronic transfer code, right? So if it was a bank to bank transfer, it must have made it to SSL. Or that code will tell you exactly where the money go. Now, let us say it made it to SSL's holding account, which is at another financial institution, because SSL is just a investment firm. They have to have an account with a major financial institution in Jamaica. So let us say it make it into one of these, this account, this holding account. What happened after that? All right. Okay. Let us say it was a check that was done up, and the check was to be taken by a courier or somebody to SSL, and then SSL will collect the check. They sign for this check at them front desk, and then it is sent for deposit at a major financial institution. Where are all the signatures of everybody involved? Me not see one baffle up on the head for. Everybody that touched something part of it, haul them in for questioning. Bring them in for questioning. Me not think it that hard to find $12 million. And as to where this $12 million go, me don't think it that difficult. I think y'all dragging it out. And somehow I'm feeling, because I think this is going on since 2023, the latter part of 2023, somehow I'm feeling that certain people know exactly where the money they, but them are the ring around the rosy, a pocket full of posy. Ring around the roses. That's how I go. Me never remember. That's how I'm feeling. Una give them a 6 for a 9. Una give him something for whole. And you know what I will say to you? You're saying you should have got an attorney right away when it happened. But there are a lot of missing pieces in this story, in what we're being told. So what about the other investors? What I know it was said that some got their money, but some still haven't. What's going on? But anyway, since you are the fair side now, Bolt, right? And the and what has happened here. I would strongly suggest stop waste time attack to the fix, talk to this, talk to that. Talk to an attorney. Does Jamaica have any forensic attorneys down there? I'm not thinking that hard to find the money. That's all I gotta say. And I'm speaking from banking experience of how many years at 3 different financial institutions in Jamaica. Plus here, it is traceable. It is traceable. So nobody can give people that there so the money disappear, nothing here. So where could I? Somebody have the money. And I will stand 10 toes down. Gina and Panton is not the only one involved. She is not the only one involved. Only Father God can come down from heaven and tell me otherwise. There are other people involved. But for some reason, she has to bear the brunt of it. But anyway, that's that. The other article we have with Usain Bolt, he says, I'm still Jamaican. Usain Bolt reflects on financial struggles and making more money by moving out of home country. I pin this one on YouTube as well. Yeah, once Jamaican, always Jamaican. You can't know nothing about that. All right, this one comes to us courtesy of sportskita.com. Usain Bolt reflected on his origins while talking about his financial struggle as a Jamaican athlete. He expressed his frustration that despite his global success, he did not receive the level of financial support from Jamaica that athletes from other countries do. The sprinting champion pointed out that athletes from other countries like the United States or Great Britain often earn significantly more due to stronger financial support and better sponsorship opportunities. He explained that major brands prioritize an athlete's image alongside their talent, which can affect earning potential. The 38-year-old further suggested that if he had represented a different country, he might have made more money. But he remained loyal to Jamaica despite these challenges. Reflecting on his struggles during the Fix podcast on February 10, 2025, Bolt said, I'm still Jamaican. Let me explain something. If I had switched to any other country, I made way more money. If Great Britain, I would have made way more money. Somebody retype this to me now. If Great Britain, any other country, like the top country that compete with, I can't read this, it's painful. Whoever did the construction, the sentence, I don't need to edit no things. Anyway, keep it moving. I frustrate myself. In the interview, Usain Bolt reflected on a sense of patriotism mixed with frustration. He shared that although he took immense pride in representing Jamaica, he questioned whether his contributions to the country were fully appreciated. He acknowledged that financial success in sports is not solely about talent, but also about branding and national support. Usain Bolt jokes about prize money, highlights missed earnings. In 2024, Usain Bolt joked about World Athletics decision about the all right, sportskeeda.com. Wanna get an editor, please and thank you. Because it is very annoying. And I do have an issue. I do have what you call it there. We're reading something and it's filled with typo errors and poor construction. I can't do it. It flusters me. It aggravates the life out of me. So sportskeeda.com. Get yourself an editor. All right, I could talk about it. I'm not for read the rest of it because I'm not gonna annoy myself anymore. How much money can an athlete truly make in Jamaica? Hmm? How much money can an athlete truly make in Jamaica? You tap out. Artists will tell you to. You you plateau, you reach a level, you reach a cap. That's it. There's nowhere else to go. So I think the world knows that if you are in a first world country, if you're in a developing country, of course you're going to make more money. It's a given. The earning potential is way more. Jamaica can only go so far. Being a Jamaican athlete, supporting Jamaica, believing in brand Jamaica, you have to create opportunities for yourself. But if I'm not mistaken, as a matter of fact, you know what, let me not guess anything or try to juggle my memory here. Um, he has had brand deals over the years, right? With companies local and foreign. Oh, okay. Let me pull this up on Google. So,
Yeah, but that's how they make their money, though.
brand deals, right?
Yeah, that's how they make their money. The country are don't pay you. In the US don't pay these athletes a lot of money either. They make the money from brand deals. So it depends on the type of brand deal he got.
Thank you. Thank you, Marlon. That's what I was thinking. And even, okay, with the brand deals, you can only make so much in Jamaica as well. These companies are not earning in US dollars. Well, some of them, they're earning in Jamaican dollars. What would you consider a reasonable amount of money to make from local companies? But anyway, ranked by Sports Pro as the world's most marketable athlete in 2011, Bolt has served as a spokesperson for such global brands as Puma, Hublot, Nissan, Gatorade, Visa, and Virgin Media, regularly appearing in marketing campaigns throughout a career in which he has amassed tens of millions of dollars in endorsement. All right, we could stop right there, so family. So what you do with the money, Bolt?
But you have to remember, with all that tens of millions of dollars, he has people to pay, agents and different people. So he might have tens of millions of dollars, but how much he have to pay out before he get his check?
That part too. Very interesting part or point, I should say. And I'm gonna tell you all something. You see, the crowd of people want to have round, that can be an excess burden, unnecessary burden.
Morning, morning.
Morning, James. Hold on a second, there, James. That can be a burden. Una don't need the one bag of people round una. And I'm gonna say something which some people might frown upon. You remember when there was the little issue with him and what's his name's wife? because of when she complained about the noise, the constant noise and partying and the bikes up and down the street and the this and the that in the neighborhood. A lot of people had an issue talking about all these uptown people, they don't want to see people progress and all of that. That's not it. That's far from the truth. But if you ever notice, if you go into many uptown communities, they're usually quiet. Wealth is quiet. You see, all them baga people that you have around you, they come at a cost. So yes, Marlon, back to your point. Before I'm even getting check, the money shell out already. Call me where you want, call me. But me now gonna have one bag of people back coming day in, day out. So me have to feed and clothe and look after them. I'm not doing it. Because I have children. Go ahead, Mr. James. Sorry, morning, by the way. Mass James, they would have called you in the country.
Yeah, no, I don't think Bolt have a big entourage though. And the thing with Bolt do a lot through his foundation. Like he pay for a lot of people. Like what's her name? One of the cartel, Gaza. What's her name? Gaza. I can't remember her name, but he pay for like cancer treatment for her. He pay for a lot of stuff at the hospital and in his old community.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things when you come from humble beginnings, is like a responsible, like you feel responsible that you have to take care of a lot of people. So he does that through his foundation.
Mm-hmm.
And he still have a lot of money because remember, like he have a lot of buildings in Jamaica, a couple of high-rise office buildings in Kingston, New Kingston. He owns them.
Mm-hmm.
And the $12 million that's missing, that is just probably like less than half of his wealth. So he still have money, but
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't matter if you have like 50 million and you lose $12 million US is still a lot to lose.
Mm-hmm.
And I think his frustration is just that he felt like the government should have done more because
What should the government do, though, James? What can the government do if they're operating within the laws? What can the government do for him?
I no, I don't know. I just feel, well, the thing is that the company, like, because even they said like the FBI was involved and forensic from FBI forensic people and all that, and it just seemed odd that nothing came out of it. Like that a company like that would have like even season of assets and stuff like that. I feel like the government, the same way how the US government sees asset when what's his name? The guy, the Ponzi scheme guy, that is all his assets were seized. The cash, the other guy, the
Mm-hmm.
Jamaican cash plus or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
assets were seized. So all of those people, like from my understanding is that like even some of the head of the companies, like they are living their best life still. Assets should have been seized and liquidated and give back the people their money. Yeah, that's how I feel. Yeah, assets should have been seized.
Hey, talk the things them. But can we truly expect the government to take taxpayers' money to give him back the full amount? Because if you do that beyond what is allowed by the JDIC as guaranteed, beyond that, don't them have to give back everybody their money who invested in SSL? Well, you say he doesn't have a big entourage. I hope that's the case. I really hope he doesn't have a big entourage. I honestly hope that's the case. And yes, he invested he made some smart investments. He did. He did. But you're saying, I'm gonna say this to you. You can't Jamaica and Jamaican companies can only support you so far. Right? The
Yep.
resources are not like foreign companies. As in the article here, with all these. Oh, by the way, it also said that he had an astounding 30-to-1 endorsement to salary ratio. Go ahead, James.
Yeah, no, I know. Well, Usain Bolt understand that. Any Jamaican athlete understand that. Once you get to a certain level, right? If you want to make the most out of your career in terms of money, some athletes are going to choose to go other places. But I think with Bolt and Asafa Powell, remember these two guys are the two guys that chose to stay in Jamaica and to train in Jamaica. They are some of the first athletes that at that level that started training in Jamaica, because before Olympians did not train in Jamaica, they trained overseas. So I believe it's just a frustration that he's thinking that, look, like we did something that was never done before, and then became the fastest man in the world, and something that you can't take away from him. And the second most popular, even some people even think that he's more popular than Bob Marley, but that's arguable. So whether first or second, so I believe that the government should have done something to
But
ensure
what
that he get back even half of the money,
but
even
what
if he
is
don't
that
get back the full.
something, James? What should the government do? So
As I
you're
said,
saying
like
seize the assets, dispose of the assets, liquidate the assets to give him the money.
to give back everybody half of their money, like do something, because the thing is, like, I don't believe any company, any investment or banking company, banks in Jamaica should be able to operate without the assets, like without assets that can be liquidated to cover their thing. And this is like about the fifth or sixth, whether bank or investment company that went down in the past 30 years, and that's unacceptable, so they need to be more tightly regulated, or something.
All
And
right.
I don't know, they I don't know.
All right. So I went on the website of JDIC, which is the Jamaica Deposit Insurance Company, with which all financial institutions are supposed to register and insure. So the Deposit Insurance Act, DIA, provides that the JDIC must pay out of the Deposit Insurance Fund in respect of an insured deposit up to the prescribed coverage limit of $1.2 million to every depositor of a policyholder in circumstances where the policyholder fails or is unable to make payment in respect of a deposit. Therefore, the maximum deposit insurance coverage limit is $1.2 million, principal and interest combined, per depositor, per institution. So no matter what, James, per this, 1.2 million is the guaranteed amount. So there's no guarantee. And the government cannot guarantee him getting half or anybody getting half. And it's sad. It is truly sad that you bust your ass, you work hard, you make this investment, and then poof, it goes up in smoke. Gone with the wind. It's hard. It's truly hard. But it's a risk we make. It's a risk we take. And no matter how we feel emotionally about the whole situation, we have to look at the provisions that are put in place, the stipulations that are put in place, the mandates that are put in place by which financial institutions must adhere. So if the government says, okay, we're going to seize assets and we're going to liquidate, and so that everybody can get back as much as possible of their money, that is a favor. And not what them have to do. You know?
No, they don't have to, but they should have. They should have moments, because the thing is, if you watch it, I watch a full interview, and one of the things too, because like I was one of the person that was saying that he's extremely quiet about it,
Mm-hmm.
and he said that his phone was bombarded with like news media from America, CNN, like Fox, like MSN, like all these big networks from America, from the UK, calling off his phone, and the message was like he's not ready to talk about it because he felt that talking about it would kind of put a bad light on Jamaica and people even thinking about investing in Jamaica. So he didn't want to do that. So he said he direct his people to say like I'm not doing any international interview talking about this because everybody wanted to know about it, and he did not do one because even though the news break internationally, there's no interview of him internationally talking about it, and he said he did that purposely because he didn't want it to shed a bad light on Jamaica because people already see Jamaica as a place that he don't want to invest in because of the corruption scale, and he didn't want to add to that. So I don't know, like I don't know, give him some land or give him King's House or something, but fix it. It's fix it. We're becoming a
But
we're
James,
becoming a
again,
republic this year. Give him the Governor General House.
let me
Give him the
ask you a
Governor
question,
General House. So we're
James.
not gonna go ahead and
So let me ask you a question, James. If we give him land that is equal, the equivalent of $12 million, we're going to have to give up something to everybody at SSL, the equivalent of their investment. Because I go look away, say him one get and nobody else not get. I go look away, not true.
But the thing is though, like we know the reality of the world. All men are not created equal.
Well, I'm not. No, well, me say no, James.
So
No, it is
so
not.
give
And
him something and not tell nobody.
no.
Give him something under the
I mean,
carpet.
I agree with that either because at the end of the
I
day,
know I don't agree
yeah.
with it, but it's just life, right?
No.
I don't
That's
agree
the
with it. It's just
problem. We roll over and accept a lot of things where the wealthy or the rich keep getting things, and then those at the lower end of the spectrum, the totem pole, we get less. So me now have to take my loss, but because I am not an athlete or a public figure and an internationally known person, that's not fair to me. I work hard too. I work hard too. So if you do it for one, you have to go do it for all. But
but
Bolt,
but
go ahead.
but look on all the money that's accounted for. Can they just squeeze him some? You know,
You see, me
because
not. I'm
it's
sorry,
accounted
James.
for.
Me
It's
not. Me
unaccounted
not.
for.
They roll over like a dog. No, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. What goes? And that is a problem. And that is why the world is the way it is. We keep squeezing a man on the side. We keep allowing others, because they are more known, they're more prominent. We cater to them more than we cater to everybody else. Everybody work hard for their money. Everybody work hard for their money, James. Everybody. The outcome may not be the same, but everybody work hard for their money. I think where I knock him, yes, I understand patriotism and you love your country and so. But I'm gonna tell you something. There comes a time, when your country not love you as much as you think they love you, And you have to do right by yourself. Me, Bolt, going forward, my recommendation to you: something happens, you draw for one lawyer. You have to draw for an attorney. I just saw the thing go. No worry about how the world I go. Yeah, worry about Jamaica and how the Jamaica reputation. Jamaica don't have a reputation already. Don't have a reputation already. It is what it is. It is what it is. You have your pitney them for worry about. You have your mother and your father for worry about. Don't worry about Jamaica. Get a lawyer. As a matter of fact, you should have a lawyer on your payroll. Mm-hmm. You should.
He does have. He had a lawyer from day one.
Good. Well, that the lawyer that should have said, come on, you're saying we're not waiting. We right away. Because what we've done now is we've given the government or SSL and everybody involved, the FDI, what it, FID, a certain name, we have given them so much time, the Financial Investigations Division. We have given them so much time to shift things and do this and do that. Time is of the essence. Time is money. That's all I'm going to say. Anyway, let's keep it moving. And again, Bolt, and not even to you, but to any young athlete, please understand this. You can only go so far with corporations, with at the corporate level in Jamaica, and I'm talking about a relationship that results in you earning because you are the brand or you're the face of the brand, sorry. Understand that you can only make so much. You cannot complain in the long run because you didn't make what you think you are worth from your country. You see, Spice? When everybody accused Spice that she turned her back on Jamaica, no, she did not. But how much further was she going to go in Jamaica? Shaggy, how much further was he? What he should have done? Turned down the deals with Disney and everybody else? You can only go so far in Jamaica. Only so far. And we should encourage people to spread their wings while keeping Jamaica as base. You still live at home, you know. You still invest in your country. But spread your wings and don't feel bad for it. Make zero apologies. And the reason I'm saying that, you have a lot of people, a lot of officials who invest outside of Jamaica. They invest across the Caribbean. A lot of them have accounts in countries in other Caribbean islands, properties in other islands, properties across the world. They're looking at their portfolio. So I don't expect no Jamaican to sit down and say them are 100% gung-ho Jamaica. If that was the case, Grace Kennedy would not be Grace Kennedy today. Grace Kennedy not invest in Jamaica alone. They spread them wings. And so that is how we have to operate. So now you can call me non-patriotic, you can call me not Jamaican enough, me not care. At the end of the day, I just saw the thing. Right? Jamaica is not like Bermuda, where we have money color like that. Too early for the face, Adesoji. Too early for the face. Good afternoon, by the way. Good afternoon, G Lee.
Yeah, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Yes, I hear you disparaging one of His Majesty's islands.
No,
Yeah.
I'm not.
Okay, okay. Just to be sure. Just to
Remember,
be
if
sure.
you cut me, I bleed black, green, and gold. Those time hard times there are, but the land is green and the sun shining.
His Majesty will be proud of that. Thank you. Thank you.
Black, green, and gold to the day I die. Love my country, love my people, but don't mean me not go tap about my country and tap about my people when them wrong. When them wrong, them wrong. It is what it is. When them right, them right. All right, next up it is time. So that is my lesson, my recommendation to any athlete in Jamaica. Remember, you will not earn your full potential in Jamaica alone. All right? You have to be willing to spread your wings. And also remember this too. Any company out there, whether yard or abroad, your life expectancy in terms of brand deals is not very long. When you're high, bank all you can bank. Because you see, when you step off the world stage, the endorsement deals go to. All right? Or they cut them down because here comes another rising star, another talent. And you cannot expect that they're going to pay you at the same rate as when you were on the track. I just a life go, a business it me. So, my folks, anybody getting into entertainment, anybody getting into sports, maximize when you're hot. What I'm saying, strike it when it's hot. Yeah, take the brand deal them, capitalize on them because nothing lasts forever. Remember that. Nothing lasts forever. No, what I would love some of you to do is have a conversation with Shaquille O'Neal. Have a conversation with him. He has mastered the art of brand deals. Even though, how long now since Shaq retired? Hmm? How long now since Shaquille O'Neal retired? Hold on. Let me jump on Google here. Did you all see the video with him and Kevin Hart? To a Kevin Hart with a makeup shack. Okay, so he retired in 2011. Yeah, he retired from the NBA in 2011. But I want to believe he's more popular now and he makes more now than when he was um, playing. I may be wrong and I'm subject to correction and I'm okay with that. But he has been able to strike up some brand deals. It's like every time you turn on the TV, you see this man face. He has so many endorsements or companies that he is aligned with, or companies, yeah, that he's aligned with. He could possibly start training athletes who are approaching retirement or who have retired on about how to diversify, how to keep going, how to remain relevant so that they keep their earning potential. I don't know how many Jamaican athletes do that. So we have Shelly Ann Fraser Price. She has now um, gone into hair care products, right? Who else we have? What's his name? Sub 10. What name again, James? God have mercy. Asafa. Asafa has his YouTube channel. He also, I think he still has brand deals with Puma, but we're not seeing them the way you would see Shaq, if you know what I mean. Okay, all right, I'm done. I think I've exhausted that. Just think, folks. Think. Pivot, pivot, pivot. Pay attention, not just to your skill, your talent, but explore opportunities out there. Do we have a sports management team in Jamaica, James, like a boutique, so to speak, that handles athletes, that kind of talent to look beyond the track, look beyond whatever the sport is, to help guide them and set them up for the future? If there isn't such a company, I think that's a great opportunity for a company to establish itself in Jamaica. All right, next up, time for us to go down into the islands, our travel, lifestyle, and features segment. And for this one, we head on over to the beautiful St. Kitts and Nevis. All right, let me close. All right. So, according to travelandtourworld.com, the Caribbean has been hiding a secret, a place where adrenaline meets paradise, where roaring ATVs cut through jungle trails, and where the ocean calls to daredevils willing to take the plunge. St. Kitts, a pristine island nestled in the heart of the West Indies, is no ordinary beach getaway. It's a thrill seeker's dream, a place where travelers trade in loungers for zip lines, deep sea dives, and treacherous volcano hikes. For too long, the adventurous playground has been overshadowed by its glitzy neighbors. But 2025 is the year it takes center stage. Latest buzz: St. Kitts is emerging as the Caribbean's hottest action packed destination, luring travelers who refuse to settle for another sleepy island retreat. Forget about tame snorkeling. This island isn't for the faint of heart. St. Kitts offers some of the most electrifying diving experiences in the entire Caribbean, with shipwrecks, lava formed reefs, and towering coral walls swarming with exotic marine life. Kenneth's Dive Center and Pro Divers Inc. are leading thrill seekers into the deep blue abyss, where sharks glide past sunken treasures and eerie caverns dare the brave to explore their depths. For those who want to keep their heads above water, snorkeling tours with the water blue safaris promise just as much action, with encounters ranging from sea turtles to schools of vibrant tropical fish. And for those who want to conquer the waves, jet skiing, Parasailing and kiteboarding with St. Kitts water sports are all the rage. All right, folks, so head on over to St. Kitts and Nevis. And, if you like the thrill, if you like adventure, if you're a daredevil, have your way over there. Explore the Caribbean. Yeah, you don't have to go around the other side of the world to explore. Okay. There you have it. And that story wraps up the Caribbean corner. Now it is time for stories on the no, not the international scene. We have stories out of Latin America. How could I? And we have quite a few stories out of Latin America, as a matter of fact. First up, Argentines flock to budget-friendly beaches in neighboring countries as their peso strengthens. Talk about, wait, what kind of tourism you call that when you stay local? Hold on there. Let me check the chat. Um. Oh, so in
It's
the
called
chat,
a staycation.
staycation. Yes. Thank you, Adesoji. So hold on a second. We have some comments on YouTube. They are not encouraged to go into business, only to run like a bat out of hell. And we're talking about athletes. All right. According to APnews.com, on a recent hot summer day in Chile, the beaches of Viña del Mar, Cancun, and Reñaca are packed with holidaymakers sharing yerba mateteas and playing ball. Others mill about in the shopping centers on the coast and in the capital. Some wearing shirts with Lionel Messi's name on them, carrying bags full of clothing, video games, and mobile phones. Well, who are they? They are part of a wave of Argentines who have found Chile to be a budget friendly paradise this southern summer. Everything here is so cheap for us. That's according to Cristian Vasquez, who was enjoying the sea in Reñaca, and that's on Chile's central coast. In December 2024, the start of the Southern Hemisphere summer, more Argentines went on vacation abroad than in the previous year, with Chile, Brazil, and Uruguay as the top destinations. Despite a year of economic crisis, Argentines are flocking to beaches, mountains, and shopping centers abroad, encouraged by a favorable economic outlook and a strong peso. Between December 2023 and the same month in 2024, the Argentine peso appreciated by around 41% against the official US dollar, thanks in part to a strong adjustment plan implemented by President Javier Milei, who is an ultra liberal who came to power at the end of 2023 on the vows to blow up the central bank. And that's figuratively speaking, folks, figuratively speaking. And that's what's in the article. Who vows to blow up the central bank, take an axe to the bloated government, and kill sky high inflation. The man say murder. All right, a stampede of Argentines traveling abroad for their summer vacations is driven by several factors, including the recent devaluation of various foreign currencies, the convenience of nearby destinations accessible by car, and the prohibitively high cost of domestic vacations, especially along the Argentine Atlantic coast. As I'm reading this, something went off in my head. James, you're a tourism man. I'd love to hear your thoughts if you're not busy. If the Caribbean, all the Caribbean islands, worked with the carriers, airline carriers, to reduce the cost of airline tickets into the Caribbean, wouldn't the Caribbean be flooded even more with tourists? Just thinking. Also, working with the hotels to kind of lower the cost a little bit because it is expensive to go to the Caribbean. It is very expensive. There was a content creator, she's Jamaican, and she put up a video, I think it was last week, about looking for tickets to go to Jamaica. Yes, at short notice. $2,000 to go away. Does that make sense? Is that practical? I would think that if you lower the price, you have more people coming through. I don't know. Those are my thoughts. And I'm not saying it is going to take away from the exclusivity, quote unquote, of the island. I'm just thinking, opportunity for other people. But I don't know. I guess James can't talk. You see him at the tourist man, so he would.
No, yeah, I don't think the Caribbean. I don't think the Caribbean have control of their own tourism. It's America capitalism, because the reality is that I think about 75% of people who go to the Caribbean are from America, and a lot of most of the hotels are not owned by Caribbean nationals. So it's America capitalism that controls. So the Caribbean is pretty much like a relaxation place for Americans. It's owned by Americans, pretty much. So I don't think the governments have much control over it. Yeah, like America capitalism, like control everything. So yeah, and supply and demand too. Supply and demand, because if they are able to charge that amount of money, especially like for hotels, because there's no reason for me to go to Jamaica and book $1,000 per night for a hotel. But because they can do it, they do it. But if, as I say, like say for example, Cuba and Haiti open up and they have to start sharing the market, then that's the time they're going to drop the prices. But until that happen, once they have the leverage, they're going to take advantage of it. Um, and someone told me that, when was it? I was having a conversation earlier, late last week, and someone told me that the prices in Jamaica, they're going down because the forecast, what they had, the projection for 2025, the winter season is way behind already because of the Donald Trump effect. A lot of people are not traveling because the markets are kind of shaky right now. So prices are falling in Jamaica. Someone was telling me that no, if you want to get good price on hotel, do it now because um, they're not seeing the winter tour season that they expected because of this whole tariff war and deportation and all the type of stuff. So Americans are, thinking twice before they spend their money.
Wow. Well, can you blame them? You can't blame them. So, anybody going to Jamaica for Carnival? I suggest not getting the tickets now because right now, the back of the plane alone, base, $614. So, what can I say?
I got my ticket for $400 though.
Because how long ago did you buy yours?
When did I buy my ticket? About 2 months ago.
See, that's the difference. But I'm talking about anybody wanting to go to Carnival and just gonna buy their ticket.
Yeah.
No, yeah, it's gonna be crazy. Oh, so you're going for Carnival, James?
No, not for Carnival.
Oh.
I'm going before. When is Carnival? Is April.
Yeah, Carnival is April.
Yeah, I think I'm leaving the week before Carnival.
Oh, so,
yeah,
so you won't be there for Carnival.
No.
Okay, all right. You're gonna miss out. Ray.
No, I don't want to, rent an expensive Airbnb and all that type of stuff because of Carnival. Because no, I'm not
So
going
you don't
for
have
Carnival.
family down there you can't stay with, James? No?
Moments I get them come from now. That's how what? No, I have a house,
No.
but
Okay.
but I'm not staying there. When you go to Jamaica, you have to, Jamaica already. You have to go, discreetly. You can't just run in like that.
No, it is true. It is true. It is absolutely true.
Yeah, because I don't have the type of money. Like, whenever I go to Jamaica, when I stay at an all-inclusive hotel, I spend less money than if I go home because, well, I go on my youth, my daughter's sick or school fee or, so I can't deal with that.
No.
I don't have the money to do that right now. So I'm on a mission. I'm just going there for a couple of days. So I just like, nobody's knowing that I'm coming. I'm just going there and do what I have to do and come back quick.
Yeah, I don't blame you. And folks, yes, Jamaica Carnival runs from April 23 to 29. Yep, the main hubs for Carnival are Kingston, Ocho Rios, and Montego Bay. And I will say this if you're not about Mobile, focus for Ocho and Kingston. If you want to be a part of the road march, Kingston it is. If you're looking for the festivities, the North Coast it is. And when we say North Coast, we're talking about Ocho Rios. Anywhere in the parish of St. Anne. As a matter of fact, you can do Trelawney, St. Anne, and St. Mary, anywhere along that stretch of the corridor. And yeah, get yourself in. What now, Adesoji? You're planning to go to Jamaica for Carnival? You give the emoji. What's up?
Yeah, I'm thinking about it.
If you're thinking about it, let me know. Just pray that hope you can manage. No falling asleep, no
I'm
reading,
sure we can.
no reading, no
I'm sure we
reading.
can cope. I'm sure we can cope.
And there's no reading during carnival time. Just saying that you have to put it in
No,
stuff.
that would not happen. We need to read. We need to read.
All right, okay. But question though.
But we'll be reading things.
You know what? I'm done with you. But on a serious note, now back to this article where we're talking about Argentines flocking to budget-friendly beaches in neighboring countries as their peso strengthens, and those countries that they're flocking to are Chile, Brazil, and Uruguay. Now, here's the thing: in the article prior that we read earlier, um, was it the one earlier? But there was another article too, where I think it was last week with Jamaica adding. Hold on, let me make sure. Because enough bear with me now. The head are run. Okay, yes, the earlier. The first article, as a matter of fact, of the day, where US and Jamaica air travel gets a remarkable boost as Delta adds a fifth daily Atlanta flight to drive growing tourism. Okay, in the article, it spoke about breaking through the Latin American market, meaning they want to get into that market to encourage people from across Latin America to come to Jamaica. But will they be successful, for example, with Argentinians or Argentines, or who prefer to save their coins and go to one of the other three countries? It's going to be a hard feat if they don't do something about the prices. They're gonna have to adjust these prices. Because why would I, James, as you pointed out, pick up $1,000 to go to Jamaica when I can just go next door for a couple hundred? You see what I'm saying? So how are we going to counter it? We are in a very fragile landscape, so to speak, thanks to what's going on in the US.
Yeah, I don't think Jamaica need the Latin market though. That's too greedy, but enough more than you can show. I think because the Latin market, Dominican Republic already control that market, and Cuba, the Latin market is what keeping Cuba afloat. Because a lot of people from when you go to Cuba and Dominican Republic and you stay at any of the hotel, like I would say about 70% of the people that you encounter there, they're from like other Spanish speaking country. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what I noticed when I went to both places, Cuba and Dominican Republic. And both Cuba and Dominican Republic are the cheapest places to travel in the Caribbean. I don't know how Dominican Republic does it, but they are extremely cheap compared to Jamaica. And Cuba is cheaper too. So of course, if you're coming from Argentina or some of these other Latin American countries that you don't have the type of money that Americans have, you're going to choose the cheaper place to go, and you're going to choose somewhere that you're comfortable to, because in Dominican Republic you're going to encounter people that speak Spanish. In Cuba the same thing. So yeah, I don't think we need that market though. We have the American market, the Canadian market, the UK market, and you have
We
flights
have
coming
Germany
into
too.
Algeria from Spain, from Germany, from Spain, and those places. So I just think the market that you have, take care of it. Don't bite off more than you can chew.
Don't bite off more than you can chew. As you said, the cost and how affordable it is to go to the Dominican Republic and Cuba. Do you know a lot of Jamaicans say it is cheaper for them to go to the DR to vacate than it is to stay in Jamaica and have a vacation? Come on, Jamaica. Come on. We have to do something for our locals. We cannot have our locals taking foreign exchange and going to another island because of affordability. They want to vacate in Jamaica, but they can't afford to. Can you imagine that? Jump on a plane and go to the DR, and pump up their economy. And one thing about Jamaicans, we not care, we really don't care. So you want to say, we not care how no want to see us. We gone at the people them place, gone cock up ourselves. And a lot of Jamaicans are going there to get them body do too. What kind of tourism is that one? When you go to, it's not medical tourism.
Health tourism.
That's not health tourism to go get fake
It's
bottom
called
and breast.
it's called ecotourism.
Eco.
That is plastic tourism. Enough of that. But listen, ladies, may I talk to you for a second? No, I have gone off on a whole different, Lord help me, Jesus. But I'm gonna, after a while, some of your ladies, let's be real. You get the body do for the first few months, year probably uno look good. Me not gonna tell you lie, some uno look good. But after a while, it's just like how the foundation of a house sets, and they will tell you not to do any additions or stuff for at least give your house at least 3 to 5 years to settle because the earth shifts. You see, after a while, when the body set, we start to see. We can't tell say you do your body. Let me put it that way. We can't tell say the body do up. And it no matter how much money you pay.
Especially if you go to DR, you can tell the DR one them differently from the other ones. Like if you see a woman and one breast bigger than one, DR. Like they don't do a good job. They do not do a good job.
And then everybody shaped like a bug's life. Everybody has the same shape. Yesterday, I ran into the supermarket and there was a lady coming out in front of me. Ooh, she need to go back for her money. She need to go back for her money. I don't know who do her work, but she from behind. Ladies, and not everything we have to run or pick up. And not everything. And then what is happening with the butt? The butt start to look like there is a pot cover or a round cement thing put in your bottom. After a while, it just have a weird shape. And it hang down. It don't look right. Maybe gonna do. Take it easy. And if you're not going to do on the bottom, take time with it. Not do this exaggerated thing. Yes, I agree. YouTube comment. They don't do the maintenance to keep the body up. Yes, it's expensive. Ever so often you have to redo the breast and redo the bottom. Anyway, sorry, I digress.
There's a positive slant to it though. When they go swimming, sharks don't often sharks can notice something plasticky in the water, so they would stay clear. So if anything, you can swim next to somebody who's just got their body done.
Wow. Wow, that's interesting. Where you find out the information that Soji?
Kids, I mean, have you heard of shark attacks in DR Republic?
Next. Bolivia. Europe. You know you're wrong for that, Adesoji. Wrong for that. Where do people go to get their bodies done in Europe? Where they go, Adesoji?
They go to Turkey.
Do they do a good job over there in Turkey? Have you seen anybody?
Well,
Do you know anybody who has done their body in Turkey?
I don't look at that form of aesthetics. So I'm El Natural.
Oh,
God made it. It comes in its plastic. You unwrap it. Over time, it will go south. It's all part of nature. Appreciate everything. So anything that is hanging when it's not supposed to be hanging is not normal. Sorry.
by the way, talking this and talking that. South African women, where them get them shape from? They all have these wide
Yes.
hips. Oh my
Now you're
God.
talking. Yes. I mean,
Jesus.
from Central Africa down to the tip of the Cape, built different.
Damn.
From the East Africa, built different. You could tell. The moment you see them, you could tell.
Jesus. And they have these, some of them have these very small waists, and they're
Yeah.
not shaped by corsets. This is natural.
No, natural.
Small waist, and then the hips are very wide, and
Mm-hmm.
they're perfectly shaped. Perfectly.
Thank you very much.
Shaped. Yeah.
Coca-Cola bottle. Yeah.
No, they're even better than a Coca-Cola bottle. By the
Yeah,
way,
but yeah, in proportion. Yes.
and then when you talk about West Africa, they seem to be blessed in the chest and the what you call it? The nyash. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. A bit very harmful, shall we say. Sometimes too much for the hands. Yes. But that's and they come in all kinds of what's the word? Viscosity, if you know what I'm saying. The farther you go towards the center, the viscosity is listen. Yeah, back to our regular program.
The resistance.
Yes, so you can go from
You said go back to regular program.
if you go from Liberia, to Cameroon, right? So that's literally the tip of West Africa. Let's bring in Senegal as well. Okay, so Senegal come all the way to Cameroon, which is technically the end of West Africa. The further you go from one side, the what's it called? The lesser the viscosity. So it's a lot more thicker on the west side. In the more you go east, oh my God, jelly.
So here's what I would recommend ladies do. If you want to alter your bodies, go to Africa and live for a while. Eat the food there, the organic food there, and your shape will change. You want a bigger chest? You want a bigger chest? Go to Africa. You want bigger hips and a bigger nyash? Go to Africa. West or and south.
West is where the yash is yashing.
Just spend some time in Africa. Go to the different areas so you can get the different features, and then you come back. All right. And if you want some height, probably head on over to Sudan. Which other country?
East Africa, Sudan, Ethiopia, Kenya, Tanzania. Those 4.
So like my like a 5'2" short self. You think it's too late for me to
get no. Africa has a place for the cute and lovely. We don't discriminate. Don't discriminate.
Sometimes because you have certain individuals in the space who like to make fun of me. Certain people on the stage and down in the audience who like make fun of my height because I'm the shortest one in the crew. But better tell them there's a place for me in Africa.
But there is a place for the cute and lovely, Cute and lovely, yes. We don't go by height, go by aesthetics. Cute and lovely.
Said Lord, so the one RoSolo and the one Marlon and the one Tasha can hear. Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead, James.
Yeah, but moments, the reality is that if you told me like 20, 30 years ago that one day it would become a thing for Black women to be doing their bodies, I would laugh it scorn because there's no reason.
Exactly.
No, I can't see any reason. Like I see women with perfect bottoms and they go and do surgery and then I'm like, I would not touch you looking like that. And they were perfect before.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so there's no reason for, like, I understand back in the days when they say the Chinese woman, the man, and bottom flat. Like, you can't excuse them. But I've never, no. Like, in my entire life, I probably only seen like about 2 or 3 black women with bottoms that represent like the Chinese community, like flat bottom. Black women are gifted with, you know, so there's never a reason to go do that.
I agree.
Never a reason. So I don't know. People need to love themselves.
Self-love is a hell of a thing, you know. And you're
It's
right, James. You're right. Go ahead.
no, I mean, James is spot on. He is spot on. And it's sad. It's really, really sad that you're spending money that you don't have to do things you don't need to impress people who don't want you. Can you see those 3 things?
Mm-hmm.
The poverty those 3 things just create money you don't have, to do things you don't need, to please those who don't like you. Because basically what you've been told is there is a look. There is no look. There are looks. So wherever you got that idea from should be discounted from day one. And if you had big mamas in the house, like we used to have them back in the day, because you see them, they will tell you,
yeah,
you do it. But now that you take instructions from people who have not even lived 10 years outside of puberty, that are giving you advice on podcast, going to spend money, I mean, it's wild. You just look at them sometimes like, what the hell are you talking about? Look at you. Life has not even lifed you yet.
Yeah.
What kind of choices are you making? But yet you are out here impressing under the guise of influencer. I mean, come on, man. It's wild.
But you know what is even more disturbing for me too is the fact that people of color are getting Botox. I see Botox. I see billboards in Jamaica advertising that you can get Botox. What the hell we need Botox for? What do we need Botox for? What do black people need Botox for? Please explain to me.
Can you imagine? It's like wanting to hold back time. There's a Shakespearean quote: life is like a stage, each player with his entry and exit. You were young when you were young. You will never be forever young. That's the point of life. You're not what you were yesterday, and you're not what you would be tomorrow. Neither would you be. I mean, it's just sometimes I look at our sisters and I'm like, what's going on? What is going on? Who are you talking to? What is this? You know, the eyelashes, it's like, what? Who is this for? I yield.
So Botox is a neurotoxin, right? It's produced by Bacterium Clostridium botulinum or botulinum. However, it is used in small doses as an injectable medication to temporarily paralyze muscles. Cosmetic purposes: to smooth facial wrinkles such as crow's feet, forehead lines, and frown lines. Why we need this? My Jamaican ladies, why do you need Botox? When you know what? Me not understand. What wrinkles? How many of us? Hold on there. Let me look for myself before I start that. Let me see if I have any crow's feet. Me have 52. How old am I this year? 52 this year. What crow's feet? What we are smooth out? You are temporarily paralyzing your muscles for what? How many 35-year-olds really look like 35? How many 70-year-olds truly look like they're 70, naturally speaking? Go ahead. I think morning Ari, what's up? How you doing?
Morning, all. Let me tell you something. It's that one that will get BBL, them not understand life and struggles. There. As a girl from the big body gang, the natural big body gang, it's not easy. You know how you have to find clothes? Yo, me not even bother go shopping. Me not go store and this. I mean, no, me go have a problem. You know, along my lower back, not touch one bed, me have to roll up pillow and put forget little ease. Then girl, they don't have nothing for them, you know. And that's a problem. They don't have nothing to hurt them. They don't have no goals, no real goals in their life. You know, you see, whatever surgery they do, you see the silicone or the jelly or the transferred fat situation, them don't under, they're not getting, them are get the cosmetic effect. They don't know the real struggle, a real natural big bottom. You find one real fatty answer about it. It hard. China now make full size clothes because the waist won't be a problem, but the hip are gonna be the problem.
The
They
hips.
don't have in a life, you know.
Yeah.
They don't have no problem in a life. But when you sit down in a taxi where if you can't five only you can't four, and them a look for you like you're too fat. No, I meet them oh no a problem. They don't understand like, but they go on and waste their money. They stay there. BBL like get heart attack and there's something there. At least if you watch on the news too, you hear that BBLs, a lot of them have a smell.
Yep.
So when you naturally have big body, you know how to wash your parts. You see, when I buy, you don't know the acrobatics where you have to do to get it done. Then go on.
Well, and, and the funniest thing is the fake one them shift. You know, like I've heard. Well, for me personally, like I can spot them out from a mile. I would never touch a woman with a fake bottom. But I've heard people say like you have to be careful when you do things because if you touch it too hard, it will shift from one side to the other side. And I'm like, as a man, like I would scream, I would jump, I would run, like a thief, take out my clothes and run out of the house naked if I'm with a woman and I see it shift from one direction to the next. Like, no, that would be traumatic for me.
Father God, thank you for the little blessing you bestow on me, Father God. Thank you. Me always say, me wish my chest did bigger, but Father God, you give me what I can manage because we have a cousin, she had to do a reduction. Naturally, big boobs, but she had to do a reduction because it was giving her she would have terrible back aches. And then what was happening to her too in her shoulders, she would have the brassiere strap would leave marks. So yeah, she had a reduction done. And I can see through that because of the pain she was in. But yes, go ahead, Ro. You
No, I didn't have anything to add. I came in the middle of the conversation and heard Irie. So apparently I missed the story, but I'll just go back and watch it later.
we're talking about BBLs and women
Yeah, I got that
increasing their
part from
size.
James's comment as well. Yeah, got that. That I'm there.
So I was talking about our cousin who did a breast reduction because of the back
Yeah,
pain she was
and she was
feeling.
young.
Yeah.
She was young.
Hmm.
She was a what preteen, just turned teen when she had to do it.
No, man, she was in her teens already.
She was in her teen. She was
Yeah.
young though. She was in
She
high
was,
school. She was young.
yeah.
She
Yeah.
was young. So, but
Yeah.
I don't know yet. I'm done. I don't. I just James. I'm done. I don't even want to comment on what James said. I already love you, James. Me no know.
Yeah, yeah. Moments. One of the things that's coming out of Jamaica too, they're saying that if you go to like what the dance them like Hot Monday or Weddy or whatever, them long time dance them. Back in the days, you used to see girls that flip off of the speaker box and a split, and
I
them
jump
say when
out
you go
a
dance,
tree.
yeah, they say when you go dance now, the woman them stand up because they can't ackle them body too much because the parts will move from one place to the other. They can't do them split because everybody have been
James,
through.
why you so lie? James, why you so lie?
James, you're not
Why
nice. You're
you
not
so
nice.
lie?
You're not nice. You're not nice.
We need the comedy. We need
Why,
the
James?
comedy. We need to laugh. We need
So you're calling them shifters?
shapeshifter. Yes, indeed. All right, next up. Next up. We started with tourism. How the hell we reach Nessa? Shame on me for taking it there. Okay. Bolivia's China-funded steel plant to begin production, meeting 50% of domestic demand. This one, courtesy of finance.yahoo.com. Every time I say Yahoo, check the chat. I always say, right now, a pure iron donkey there dance. Behave yourself. I'm trying to keep it together. A China funded steel plant in Bolivia, long in planning, is set to commence production this month, covering half of Bolivia's steel needs. The $546 million Muton plant, funded by the Export Import Bank of China, will be operated by Sinosteel Engineering and Technology for its first year, according to a report from Reuters. The plant, set to be inaugurated on February 24 near the Brazilian border, is expected to produce 200 tons of steel annually. And the steel includes rebar and wire mesh with a volume of $260 million. The Muton plant will process 66,000 tons of raw materials per month, sourced from the Cerro Muton deposit, which is estimated to contain one of the world's largest reserves at 40 billion tons. Wow. The project faced more than 5 decades of delays, including disputes with the initially contracted builder, Jindal Steel and Power from India. This sound like something worth investing in. Mr. President, I can't say, yeah, this sounds like a good investment. Steel ain't going nowhere as long as construction ain't going nowhere. And we're talking outside of the US, of course. Wow, 5 decades in the making. And they're saying that when we pass 100%, they're going to build another plant. Wow. This plant is expected to create 700 jobs during its initial operations and up to 1,000 during the life of the plant. All right, go Bolivia, go, go, go. Okay, ain't mad at y'all. All right, next up, back to Brazil. Back to Brazil we go. Brazil's Lula threatens reciprocity in U.S. steel tariff roll. Listen, this weekend has been pretty interesting, to say the least. Can you imagine you fire 300 people and now you try rehire them because you never know what them function is? Weren't you in office back in 2016 to 2020? You were never aware of the role of these people. So when you were in the first 4 years, what were you doing when you were in? Just golfing? You're busy this right now, just cutting and cutting and cutting and cutting. And no, the shock of let me tell you something now. Now them have said them can't get back the 300 people, them can't get in touch with them. You know what's happening? It's those 300 plus people that you fired, they're laughing. They're laughing. They're fully aware that you want them back because it's all over the news. It's all over social media. They're fully aware. The family members reach out and say, hey, they want you to come back. I'm like, no, not right now, at least. Do you know what we have left the country open to? I don't think they understand how grave the situation is. Nuclear. Just think nuclear alone. Make everybody shake and shudder. It makes me feel as though a certain individual is the weapon that is formed against us, but some of us just not noticing that it is the weapon that is formed against us. The dismantling of so many organizations within 3 weeks. So nobody not recognizing something is off here. But greater is he that is in me than he that is in this world. Nothing lasts forever, I will say. Yeah. So Where we saw with there? The next story, Brazil. We went back to Brazil, right? Yeah, over there, so with there. Let me read that story because you entering into trade wars right, left, and center. Oh, by the way, I don't know how true it is, and I didn't get a chance to fact check this one, but I saw, excuse me, a video where they were saying that it is being tabled, a bill is being tabled to move eviction notices from 30 days to 3 days. So if you're 3 days late on your rent, boom, eviction notice instead of waiting 30 days. What's our plan in this country, people? Then I also see the other one. I know I'm totally off track right now. The other one where the senator is proposing a bill to make a certain person's birthday a federal holiday here in this country. But we're removing Juneteenth, but we want to be because this person has done so much for this country. Did you also see the one where a certain person wants their face to be carved into Mount Rushmore? Mount Rushmore is filled with what? Whose faces are on the Mount Rushmore? Now, dead people up there. So is that you're trying to hurry up and die? That you want to see before you go? I don't know what's going on. We have flooding in the northeastern part of the US, but a certain person is at NASCAR 500. It cost the city of New Orleans taxpayers $18 million for a certain individual to show up for half of the football game. This is how we're spending taxpayers' money to show up at events, sporting events. We have real crises. You see the one again, Georgia. What's his name? Brian Kemp. He FA'd and FO'd. He FA'd and FO'd because he said that when he decided to support a certain individual, it was for business interest. Well, guess what happened now? FEMA. Funding cut. Yeah. Thank you, Kemp. I'm sure Stacey Abrams looking real cute to everybody up there right now. Mm-hmm. And the communities that have been affected gravely are the same communities that supported 100% at the polls. Oh, yeah. And a certain person has said, we're not doing anything else. Kemp wants an extension. Wants an extension. My man said, no, you're not getting no extension. It is what it is. So what is going to happen to these people now? I don't know. I'm all cried out. All cried out over you. I don't know what to tell them. Who sing the song again? Lisa and Colt John. Mm-hmm. All alone on a Sunday morning. That is where all of you are right now. Anyway, Brazil's President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva on Friday vowed reciprocity in response to a 25% levy on steel imports announced by US President Donald Trump. There is no doubt there will be reciprocity from Brazil, the second largest exporter of steel to the United States after Canada. Okay. Brazil sent 4.08 million tons of the metal to the United States in 2024. If they tax Brazilian steel, we will react commercially or file a complaint with the World Trade Organization or tax the products we import from there. Listen, Lula da Silva, you not forget through all of that. Just don't send any. How many other countries we have in the world? Strike up deals with them. One country? Come on. It ain't the end of the world. Pivot. Also in Brazil. Why are you laughing at Adesoji? Come on. I mean,
No, I'm laughing. Oh, okay. James wants to say something.
Yeah. No, I was going to say, like, I think the countries, they should stand their ground because the thing is, like, steel is not something that you can scale overnight, right? Like, no business at all. Like whether you're making fried chicken or fried dumpling, I know something you can just scale in 2 days, much less steel. In order for America to scale in terms of the capacity to make the amount of steel that they really need, it would probably take one of his term to extend, to expand and to build new factories and stuff like that. What is going to happen in the meantime is that the tariff from Canada and from Brazil, the people are going to pay for it. Housing prices are going to skyrocket because, as I said, like you can't go from creating like 1 million ton per week or whatever to creating 2 million or whatever in America. Like that's not how it works. You know, you don't scale like that. So either they don't know what they're doing or they're just trying to drive fear into people. But I just think it's going to backfire, and housing like prices are going to go up for like construction, and that's it. There's nothing else. But I think the countries need to stand their ground. You know, they might lose like a little bit of businesses, but people, the steels are going to still be needed in America, and people are still going to buy them. They're just going to have to buy them at a higher price and pass them on to the customers.
Well, everybody just stop bill. Just stop bill. Stop bill for a minute. We have more than enough inventory. In my opinion, there's a lot of inventory. They just need to make the inventory affordable. That's it. Stop building. I don't know, James. Go ahead, Soji.
Yeah, I was gonna say, most of the people outside, to a greater degree, already understand that the United States is breaking up at the seams.
Mm-hmm.
But the sad part is you still have to act normal. So the idea that he is saying he's going to go to the World Trade Organization, this is a country that's been pulling itself out of all these organizations.
Mm-hmm.
So you think World Trade Organization is going to call them to order? No, I don't think so. What's going to happen is you're going to have to put your feet down and, like James said, look elsewhere, source alternative markets.
Right.
Yeah, and that's it. And just go elsewhere. And eventually, the people that voted him into power will be the one that will pull his chain back, and his subsequent lapdog as well.
I mean, make him do what I want to do. Let him do what he's doing. Let him do what he's doing. Everybody else, do what you have to do. Plain and simple. Still in Brazil, soy lobby tells growers to reject EU anti-deforestation rule in contrast. This one, courtesy of MSN.com. A powerful Brazilian soy grower lobby is recommending farmers reject the inclusion in soy purchase and sale contracts of the obligation to comply with the European Union anti-deforestation law. This is according to a statement on Friday. Europe's landmark legislation will ban the import of beef, soy, and other goods linked to the destruction of forests after December 2020. Global traders tried to impose such a rule in contracts with farmers based in one of their states, according to a spokesperson out of Brazil, adding that the group then decided to advise farmers nationwide not to comply. The group's stance highlights growing resistance to Brazil, or resistance in Brazil, to measures imposed by foreign nations aimed at halting deforestation to counter the global climate crisis, which it says affront the country's sovereignty. Brazil's so-called soy moratorium pact, whereby trading companies voluntarily committed not to buy soy grown in deforested areas in the Amazon after 2008, has also been under threat. Wow. I want to say I agree that you have to protect the forests because, of course, we all are fully aware of the whole climate situation, and deforestation can have a negative impact, right? If you cut down the trees, remember trees serve a lot of purpose. They absorb the trees do what? Take in the what? Carbon No, no, remember the sense.
Carbon
Carbon
dioxide
dioxide
and give out
and
oxygen,
gives out oxygen,
and
right?
also holds the roots together, the ground together.
Keeps
In
exactly.
in the case of rain,
So we
and
talk about
yeah,
topography.
yep, yep.
Hmm.
And so yes, what the EU is doing is it clearly understands that nature does have a way of creating land that becomes possible for people to grow. So that's why they said, okay, since 2008, if you go and look at that edict, what they've done is these farmers, the guys who are lobbying right now, are what do you call them? This kind of corporate farmers that go into the Amazon, kill the indigenous people, burn their land, and then make it habitable for cattle, bringing cattle and plant whatever was not indigenous to said place. So this is the way the EU is using to counter. And also, if you go on Google and you just say the Amazon, you could look at the Amazon from 10 back every 10 years. You will see that it's shrinking. Because these people, it's not that yes, we don't want to trade with you, but it's that it's almost as if the world does not exist
Yeah,
out there. And
yeah,
so you want to pray. This is the lung of the world. You're basically just decapitating the world by what you're doing. And so yeah, the other lung is in Congo. So we know the forest is a bit protected over there in Congo, in a war zone, compared to where so I welcome it. I welcome it.
yeah. I want to say I agree with this. I definitely agree. We have to stop. At some point, we must stop. We can't keep stripping away, stripping away because immediate gain, greater loss down the road. Unless we don't care about children, grandchildren, and generations to come. Unless we really don't care about that, I don't know. But I stand with them on this. It makes sense to me. Makes sense. All right. Next up, isolated indigenous man returns to tribe in the Amazon rainforest after brief contact. Wow. Let me pin this here. This one comes to us courtesy of yahoo.com. A young man from an isolated indigenous tribe who approached a riverine community in Brazil's Amazon returned voluntarily to his people less than 24 hours later. This is according to Brazilian authorities. The encounter occurred around 7 p.m. local time Wednesday in Bela Rosa, a community along the porous river in the southwestern Amazon. Footage obtained by the Associated Press shows him barefoot and wearing a small loincloth, seemingly calm and in good health as he carried two logs. Locals believe the man was asking for fire. Smartphone video of the encounter showed one resident trying unsuccessfully to show the man how to use a lighter. Officials from Brazil's Indigenous Affairs Agency, FUNAI, arrived soon after and took him to a nearby facility. Fanai said in a statement on Friday that the young man returned to the forest on Thursday afternoon. It added that a team of health professionals was sent to assess if the young man had been exposed to any disease to which isolated indigenous tribes have no immunity. They also said surveillance has been established to prevent people from reaching the isolated tribe's location. As a policy, Brazil does not actively seek contact with these groups but instead establishes protected and monitored areas. Okay, that's good. The Associated Press's climate and environmental. Oh, sorry, don't need to read that. Sorry. That's a disclaimer. Why did they have to take him and test him though? Was that necessary? But yes, folks, there are tribes in Brazil and in other countries. And let me tell you something. These tribes are to be protected. They are to be protected. They serve a purpose. We need them. They protect the earth's natural resources so that we are able to benefit. We look at them and we may say, They are, what's the term that we use? There's a term that's used for them because they're not modernized, right? But let them stay just as they are. We don't want to convert them because converting them is now going to give us the opportunity to go in and take advantage of them, as history has shown us very well, right? They help to preserve the earth so that the ecosystem can work as it should. They don't believe in consumption the way we do. They take what they need when they need it. They're resourceful people, right? We stand to learn a lot from them. They don't hoard. They're not like us. But then again, it's because they have access to their environment, right? They can grow whatever they need to grow. They fish when they need to fish, hunt when they need to hunt. Protect them at all costs. Every time I see stories like this, I think about the movie. Oh my gosh, what was the movie with Zoe Saldana? Oh gosh, what was that movie? And they took forever to come up with a part two. It's like almost 10 years or more, where they went into Pandora. Jesus have mercy. What the name of the movie? Avatar. Yeah. Every time I hear stories of like this, I think about the movie Avatar and how destructive we are as human beings. Right? Yeah. All right. Next up. Next up. Uh I think we are through. Hold on, let me double check before I run my mouth. No, we have a couple more stories out of Latin America. Next up, Mexico. Bristling at Gulf of Mexico name change on maps. Mexico said I go sue Google. Yes, sue them, yes. Sue them. Me there feet. Sue them. According to APnews.com, Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum said on Thursday that her government would not rule out filing a civil lawsuit against Google if it maintains its stance of calling the stretch of sea between northeastern Mexico and the southeastern United States the Gulf of America. The area, long named the Gulf of Mexico across the world, has gained a geopolitical spotlight, or has gained a geopolitical spotlight after President Donald Trump declared he would change the Gulf's name. Scheinbaum, in her morning news conference, said the president's decree is restricted to the continental shelf of the United States because Mexico still controls much of the Gulf. We have sovereignty over our continental shelf, she said. Scheinbaum said that despite the fact that her government sent a letter to Google saying that the company was wrong and that the entire Gulf of Mexico cannot be called the Gulf of America, the company has insisted on maintaining the nomenclature. Oh, well, yeah, say Google. It was not immediately clear where such a suit would be filed. Google reported last month on its X account, formerly Twitter, that it maintains a long standing practice of applying name changes when they have been updated in official government sources. On Thursday, how the Gulf appeared on Google Maps was dependent on the user's location and other data. That's interesting. If the user is in the United States, the body of water appeared as Gulf of America. If the user was physically in Mexico, it would appear as the Gulf of Mexico. In many other countries across the world, it appears as Gulf of Mexico, Gulf of America. So what's the point of changing it to Gulf of America if the rest of the world, where depending on where you are, you're gonna see it as Gulf of Mexico? Is it that Google is just trying to appease the president of the United States, to make him just be quiet, to calm him? But really and truly, that's not the case. That's what I'm getting from this. So in that case, do we need a lawsuit? But it has been the Gulf of Mexico since 1607. If they're going to do anything, take the panhandle from, take the piece from, I want to say, Louisiana. Hold on a second. Was Louisiana part of Mexico at one point? I would say start Texas down to Mexico. That stays Gulf of Mexico. If the U.S. must get something, give them from Louisiana to Florida. I met them be quiet. I guess do that. Worst case, and Mexico would still, Gulf of Mexico would still be the majority. Whatever. Go ahead.
Well, it has nothing to do with location and geography and stuff, you know. It's just the fact that the current president is playing footsie with the tech bosses, and Google don't want to get on the bad side too early before they benefit. So that's what it is. It has nothing to do with legitimate claims. There is money to be made in America under the current leadership, so he can't get on his bad side too early.
Money to be made in America for who? That's the next question.
The tech bosses, because that's who is playing footsie with the president. These are the people with the front row seats at the inauguration.
In other news, Chevron cranks up Venezuelan oil exports amid Trump Maduro reset. Oh, them a hit the reset button. Okay. Let me go ahead and pin this one on YouTube and then we can get started. Close out that one. According to Yahoo, finance.yahoo.com, Chevron Corp plans to ratchet up oil exports from Venezuela to a 7-year high as a reset of the country's relationship with the U.S. eases concerns that trade restrictions will increase. Exports of synthetic oil from Chevron's PetroPR project are expected to rise about 50% to about 143,000 barrels a day starting this month. The highest since March 2018, according to preliminary port schedules compiled by Bloomberg. PetroPR's output has grown 37% in the past year to 110,000 barrels a day in January. That's according to a person with knowledge of the operations who asked not to be named because they are not authorized to speak publicly. President Nicolas Maduro is benefiting from the slow revival of Venezuela's oil industry, the regime's top revenue producer, after his release of U.S. prisoners and decision to accept immigrants deported from the U.S. after a meeting with Trump envoy Richard Grenell calmed fears of additional sanctions. Chevron Chief Executive Officer Mike Wirth said earlier this month that Venezuelan oil could be more important for the U.S. if it imposes tariffs on Canada and Mexico, which produces crude similar to Venezuela's grades. All right. So that one wraps up the stories out of Latin America.
So, moments, is Maduro the official Venezuelan president again,
listen.
or he's still the de facto who stole the election?
Listen, whatever the US said today, and that we roll with. Tomorrow, what SS up different, we roll with that. We just roll. The president, listen. Right now, we are in a we just have to say whatever is whatever, right? Because if we follow them, we go crazy. Them said today Maduro, today Maduro. Tomorrow somebody else, tomorrow somebody else. Whatever makes them happy at this point. Isn't that what we are being taught to do, to appease everyone? So tomorrow, if Mr. President comes out tomorrow, and everybody up in Washington come out tomorrow and say, well, the sky is purple. Purple it is. We rock with that. If it makes them happy. What we are going to do? Argue with them, Mr. President? Listen, them are go stress we out. Them are go mad. But we don't have time for that. We don't have time for that. And them, we have bigger things to worry about, right? 18. Last week we brought up the HR 22 about taking away a woman's right to vote, and I was very bringle last week when the thing popped up. But it get ignorant and dark and fool, and we're hoping that a judge will block this foolishness. Where if you're for a woman, if your last name at birth doesn't match your current last name, meaning if you got married yeah, you can't vote. Your husband votes for you. Now, how will that affect women who got married but are divorced and kept their husband's last name? I got set to Lana, take back on the last name. I go back to your last name. Go back to your maiden name. Um, how does it affect women whose husbands are deceased? Is it fair to them? So they don't have a husband, them don't have a voice. But it was planned in 20, it's all a part of the project plan, that's so? To strip away a woman's right. So single women who have never, or women who never changed your names, I'm sure they have something bring for all of you too. So don't celebrate too hard, you know. Say, oh, good. I'm sure at some point they're gonna come after that too. As long as you're a woman, period, you can't vote. I think that's where they're headed. I think that is what they would like, to silence women. Remember, we're only good for one thing and one thing only. That's how they see us. We only serve one purpose and one purpose only. And I will say to women, Lord, forgive me. Lock you up. If you go and take away my right, me I go take away. Me I go keep what I can to myself. Lock you up. And I think y'all know exactly what I mean by that. But anyway, time for stories on the international scene. I got so angry last week. I think it was last week. Yeah, I got so angry last week about the whole thing. 80. And I'm out of order. Bad. To think that somebody would table it. And I wonder, do they have a mother? They don't care about their mother's rights, freedoms. Let us say the person who tabled it have their mother and their father still alive. Let us say them father dead left their mother. Where does that leave their mother? Do they ever think? And who are the mothers that raise these people that are okay with these thoughts? Who are the parents that raise these people? And I'm attacking both men and women now, because you have women who actually support it. Women who are enjoying the freedoms of being able to choose to make decisions for themselves. They are in support of this. Do they know that eventually it's going to go back to the days where you couldn't own a home, where you couldn't have a bank account? Is that what we want? To the women who agree with this, who sign up and say yay in favor of this? And then, I don't know if y'all see the videos where they're wondering, Black women, why are y'all so quiet? Black women, why are y'all so quiet? Why? You don't know why they're so quiet here in this country? There's a video from what's her name? Political girl. And she, in the video, she's asking where all the Lord Jesus. Why I open up TikTok to find a video, and the first video I see, FAA, what? FAA, Trump administration lays off hundreds of FAA employees despite a recent plane crash. So we don't need them. You know when they're going to need them? When it's time for, what you call the plane? Air Force One to land somewhere and there's nobody available to give them clear directions. That's when they're going to realize, oh, no, bring them back, bring them back. And it's going to be another FAFO moment. You're laying off FAA employees. You know what? That's not what I came here for. I came here for something else. I don't know why. See, 80, you have me going out all different lanes and avenues. Political girl is her name, and she put up a video and she's asking where What if it's this one? Hold on. Where she's asking, where are, okay, hold on. Is it this one?
I don't know what you're doing if you're acting like things are normal. You are not protecting the norms because the norms are gone. At this point, your choice is to protect the country or to protect yourself. And it feels like too many of you are making the wrong choice. Your role at this moment in history as the opposition to a rising authoritarian party is to vocally and resolutely oppose the complete destruction of our institutions, our constitution, and our rule of law before it's too late. Your job is to convince any reasonable Republican to join you in doing that. Your job is to stand up for the American people and our health and our safety, even the ones that voted for this, because most of them didn't vote for this Project 2025 shit show, this purge of government corruption watchdogs, the complete shutdown of cancer research, or the public's knowledge of health information or food recalls. We didn't vote to invade Mexico or buy Greenland. We didn't vote to send less money to veterans and more money to private prisons. We didn't vote for the billionaires to get everything while we got nothing. So your job is to be loud and clear that that is what's happening and then to get in the way. Did you learn nothing from working with Republicans over the past 10 years? You obstruct, you deny, you be annoying, you get your face in front of every media camera and you say, this is outrageous. And then you tell us what this is because these placid tweets and business as usual language that you're using, it's infuriating. And it doesn't make you look like the grown-up in the room. It makes you look like the patsy. It makes you look weak and feckless. And Donald Trump eats the weak for breakfast. He was born a bully and he wants to be a dictator. And if you seem uncertain, he's going to exploit it. Roy Cohen taught him that. Never apologize, never back down. This man just mass released violent criminals from jail and then pulled the security detail of his political enemies.
Quiet. What do you want them to do? This is what people actually voted for. Because everything was explained to them, exactly what would happen. So when you're going to say, even the ones who voted for him didn't vote for this is what they voted for, political girl. I don't know. What do you mean this is not what they voted for? This is exactly what they voted for. How many times even Republicans explained to them what was going to happen? And they still voted. So what do you want them to do? They don't have control of the House. They don't have control of the Senate. What do you want them to do? Honestly, what do you want them to do? I mean, Jasmine has been doing an amazing job voicing and shouting and screaming and yelling and showing charts in when she's on the Senate floor. But what else? What do you want? Everything that's happening right now, political girl, has to happen. It has to play out. There's a reason it's allowed to happen. Everything, whether we like it or not. God is showing us exactly who we are as a people in this country. It has to play out. No, what everybody does in 2 years, it's up to them. It's up to them. They're the ones who, the voters are going to have to make the decision. There are some seats coming up available in different states across the country. What are they going to do? Sit at home, complain, or are they going to get up and go out and vote? That's what you should be doing, encouraging people to get up and go vote on this certain dates. You're crying to the wrong people, baby girl. Crying to the wrong people. And then I'm trying to find a video where she says she's calling out for the leaders, the past leaders, not Trump, what your name? Biden, Obama, Clinton. What you calling out to them for? What can they do? What can they do? You're calling out to the wrong people. Project your anger towards the people who are making these decisions. You're screaming at the wrong people, girl. You're screaming at the wrong people. We can't even find the video now because um you're having all this foolishness. Support the fighter. Listen, sit on one side, yeah, baby girl. Sit on one side. We're all in this together. Whether we voted that way or no. Dangote, Africa's richest man, plans $400 million expansion of Ethiopia's cement plant. In other words, we can focus on the rest of the world because some everything else going on out there. People in other countries worried for us here. Wondered if we okay. I mean, can I say? When you talk about stories out of North America, it's so dark. According to businessday.ng, let's go into this article, yeah. Aliko Dangote, Africa's richest man, announced a $400 million plan to revive a second production line at a cement plant in Ethiopia, aiming to double the facility's annual capacity to 5 million tons. The Ethiopian plant, that became operational in 2015, has faced challenges, including recurrent violence in the region, which has led to the vandalism of vehicles and machinery by protesters. The country manager of Dangote Cement PLC and two other staff were shot dead back in 2018. Despite the ups and downs, we have successfully repaid all our loans and repatriated our profit. That's according to the chairman and chief executive officer of Dangote Industries Limited when speaking with reporters on Saturday in the Ethiopian capital, Addis Ababa. The expansion project is expected to be operational within the next 30 months. Dangote also announced plans to establish a new greenfield cement grinding unit with a capacity of 3 million tons per annum. In collaboration with state owned Ethiopian Investment Holdings, Dangote Industries will invest in the Omo Kuraz sugar factory as well. China and the chocolate factory. All right, let's see what's going on here. China and the chocolate factory investment in Ivory Coast helps secure a cocoa edge. Let me pin this one on YouTube. This one comes to us courtesy of scmp.com. In the heart of West Africa, where the world's finest cocoa beans are cultivated, yes, that's the same cocoa you will get in Switzerland and Belgium. I'm a NASDAQ obsessor. In the heart of West Africa, where the world's finest cocoa beans are cultivated, Chinese investment has built new processing factories in Ivory Coast and Ghana. On the outskirts of Abidjan, Ivory Coast's economic capital, China Light Industry Nanning Design Engineering has finished building the nation's largest cocoa plant and a cocoa bean warehouse. It comes from one of the two deals the Chinese company signed with Ivory Coast in 2019 to build processing plants. The other is in the southwestern coastal city of San Pedro. The Chinese government advanced US $199.9 million to build the plants, with each intended to have an annual processing capacity of 50,000 tons. Wow. The company also agreed to build cocoa warehouses in each location with storage capacity of 140,000 tons and 160,000 tons. In return, 40% of the output from the two processing plants would be sold to Chinese companies. Ivory Coast is the world's largest cocoa bean producer, accounting for about 40% of global cocoa production and exports. The raw cocoa beans, chocolate's main ingredient, is the country's major export product. Next up, also including China, US research hub at brain of brain drain for scientists returning to China. This is according to a study, and I hope this is sounding the way I think it will sound. And if it sounds the way I think it will sound, sounds like good news to me. I'm sorry. According to scmp.com, top young Chinese scientists are returning home from Cambridge, Massachusetts, a city that houses some of America's most renowned universities at a higher rate than anywhere else in the world. This is according to a new study. A team of population geographers looked at around 1,250 Chinese researchers who moved back to mainland China over 12 years from 2009. They found that Beijing was the most favored destination, accounting for more than a third of the returnees. As further, 17% opted for Shanghai, the second most popular destination. Well, without providing their exact figures, they said Cambridge was the largest source of returnees and also the primary source of returning talent to Beijing and Shanghai. Well, why are they returning? Let me see if I can pull it up another way because then block me right there so I can't read no more. I have reached my limit. All right, so let me see if I can access some more of the story by another medium. Bear with me 1 second, please. Why are you laughing at me, Adesoji? Adesoji laughing at me. It's okay. Whatever. But I know I saw somewhere where they were saying that they're not welcomed here, they're not treated well here in the US, and they would rather go back home. And I said to people, if you have your skills, you have your training, you have your talent, you have your resources, go back to your country. Why stay where them not want you, where them not like you, where them are gonna mistreat you? I mean, am I wrong? I don't think so. There's only so much beating and battering you can take, right? If you are looked at as, hold on a second, me I go find it now. No, bear with me 1 second. I think that I can get it through here. So because I don't want to, hmm. Somebody made a comment saying they noticed that a lot less Chinese academics are in the Boston and Cambridge area. A lot of them are moving. Yeah, people are noticing. Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm being blocked every which way. I can't get in. Adesoji, don't laugh at me. But can you blame them though? If the terms are more favorable, or if it is more favorable for them to go back to where they're from and succeed and take their country further, can you blame them? No.
You need a Doge programmer.
Hey, talking this and talking that. Sister, no, them have access to the IRS system, the taxpayer system here in this country, where they're able to access everybody's information. What you need my tax information for? They're able to access it for personal and business and corporate taxes. What they need it for? Are they going to give everybody some money? What they really need it for? Anyway, don't bring. Listen, I just saw just see you have me gone back down the road there again. This one is so sad. As we are dressed in our gold and adorned in our gold, and as financial institutions use gold to back their businesses, let us stop for a minute and think about how the gold is acquired. We need to stop for a minute and think about this. All right. Is it ethical? Dozens killed in Mali, illegal gold mine collapse. This is so sad. Article courtesy of BBC.com. More than 40 people, mostly women, were killed after an illegal gold mine collapsed in Mali on Saturday. This took place near a mine in Mali's western gold-rich region. The victims had climbed into an open pit which was left by industrial miners, and they did that to look for scraps of gold when the earth around them caved in. This is Mali's second deadly mining accident in 3 weeks, after at least 10 people were killed when a mining tunnel flooded late in January. Again, I'm asking the governments of these countries to see to it that these mines are handled properly once the industrialists have exhausted the area, fill these caves up, And the reason people are going to look for what they can find illegally is because they're in dire straits. They need the money. And so they're going to scavenge and find what they can to sell what they can on the black market. They went into their own funeral, literally. Saw a video over the weekend, how black diamonds are harvested. You couldn't pay me $1 million for go down in a them hole there. You couldn't get me to do it. And as they're using their pickaxes to chip away, all I could think of is the earth above them collapsing on them. You see the little trolley that is attached to a wire cable, and they lie flat to go down in these tunnels. The air that they're breathing filled with impurities, also that we can walk around adorned in jewelry, overpriced and underpaid for. I think it's time we really take a stand, because the more we purchase and the more we clamor for these precious jewels, is the more people are being taken advantage of to source these said things for us. It's the more people will risk their lives to go illegal mining, to earn a couple pennies just to put food on their tables, while those whom we purchase from are swimming in wealth. Is it worth it? At the end of the day, now that we have the information and now that we know how these things are acquired and how people are losing their lives, children, women, men, is it worth it for the earrings we wear, the rings we wear, the chains we wear? Now that we know better, are we going to do better? Are we going to demand more from all these places that sell jewelry? Are we going to demand more from them? All these corporations that have yes, we all like nice things, but at what cost? It's going to cost another human being their life so that I can look pretty in a necklace. It's not worth it. Really isn't worth it. May their souls rest in peace. And Mali, I would ask that the government of Mali, see to it, you have to have a governing body that oversees mines. See to it that they're going to these mines once the mining companies have exhausted their operations there. See to it that they're filling up these caves, blocking these entrances. Do something. Please. Nigeria, you're next. Economy. Nigeria's economy expands for second consecutive month. That's good for you, Nigeria. May you continue to grow. Let me pin this one on YouTube. Bear with me 1 second. All right. So, according to businessday.ng, the Purchasing Managers Index PMI for January 2025 stood at 50.2 points, signaling an expansion in economic activities for the second consecutive month. This is according to the latest report released by the Central Bank of Nigeria on Friday. The data reflected a positive trend in key sectors, including industry and agriculture, while the services sector experienced a contraction. Wow. The transportation equipment emerged as the leading subsector in terms of expansion, whereas non-metallic mineral products subsector experienced the highest level of contraction. Further breakdowns in the industry sector indicated that output and employment levels grew, standing at 54.0 and 52.4 points, respectively. Meanwhile, new orders and stock of raw materials both declined to 49.6 points. Suppliers' delivery time also remained sluggish. Conversely, the services sector experienced a contraction. Okay, so we need to work on the services sector over there in Nigeria. The agricultural sector continued its positive trajectory, recording an overall index of 52.5 points, indicating expansion. So some things are doing well, some things are, a little sluggish, and some things are falling behind. Um, Forestry has posted a decline, which I think is a good thing. We want to limit deforestation as much as we can. Crop production has increased. There has been an expansion in crop production. That's a positive yield. I like that. So additionally, output, new orders, employment, and stock of raw materials within the agricultural sector reflected growth. That's a good indicator, and I like to see that. Um, Upward movements in Nigeria. Good job. Keep it going, and we look for more positive news where that is concerned. But in the meantime, also out of Nigeria, they are angered over there because Canada is throwing dirty water on them. Nigeria is angered after military chief denied entry into Canada. Let's see what's going on with this one. According to BBC.com, the Nigerian government has condemned Canada for denying visas to its senior military officers, including the head of the military. Wow. Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, said half of his delegation, who were supposed to be in Canada for an official assignment on Wednesday, were left in Nigeria after not getting the correct paperwork. Wow. The Interior Minister condemned the action by Canadian officials, terming it disrespectful to the West African country. The Canadian High Commission in Nigeria, said it was aware of the matter, but declined to give further details for privacy reasons on the specific individuals involved. It comes 2 weeks after Canada introduced new regulations that grant immigration officers explicit authority to cancel temporary resident documents under specific circumstances. The changes were aimed at bolstering border security, maintaining the integrity of visa programs, and protecting public safety, according to the Canadian authorities. General Musa on Thursday said how he and his colleagues were blocked from attending an event in Canada meant to honor the war veterans. Did not like that. I wonder why. I'd love more information on that one. I know they have a heavy Nigerian population in Nigeria. A lot of Nigerians reside there. Interesting. BBC, do some more get some more information, because I'd like to know why they were blocked. And the event in question is coming up on Wednesday of this week. All right, let's hop on over to Rwanda. Rwanda-backed M23 rebels occupy a second major city in Congo's mineral-rich east. Sometimes we have to be careful. We can't say the quiet part out loud. But they said follow the money trail, and that's all you need to know. According to APnews.com, Rwanda-backed rebels have occupied a second major city in mineral-rich eastern Congo, the government said on Sunday, as M23 rebels confirmed they were in the city to restore order after it was abandoned by Congolese forces. The Congo River Alliance, a coalition of rebel groups that includes the M23, said in a statement that its fighters decided to assist the population in Bukavu in addressing its security challenges under the old regime in the city of 1.3 million people. They say the forces have been working to restore the security for the people and their property, much to the satisfaction of the entire population. All right, here's what I'm going to suggest you do, folks. If you want more information and a clearer understanding with the whole M23, Congo, Rwanda, the entire thing, and the resources in that area, I'm going to strongly suggest that you go to Adesoji Speaks Knowledge on YouTube. There is a lot of information on his podcast, in more specifically the ones done on Sunday, on a Sunday with himself and Milton, as they do a deep dive into the situation and uncover the truth behind the whole thing going on over there in that region. So yeah, I'm strongly recommending, again, for more information as it relates to Congo, Rwanda, M23 rebels, and the resources, the minerals in that area. Head on over to Adesoji Speaks Knowledge and check on his Sunday podcasts. All right. Okay. There you have it for that one. China, China. All right. Bear with me one moment. Got to step away real quick. 1 second. And I'm back. Thank you. Thank you for your patience. All right, next up, China will have to hit back at US bullying, according to Beijing's top diplomats. Everybody pushing back. So why wouldn't they? I mean, everybody is saying enough is enough. They're tired of everything that's going on. So according to japantimes.co.jp, China's top diplomat said the country will respond to any further unilateral US sanctions, calling such moves a form of bullying in his first major public remarks since US President Donald Trump launched a new trade conflict. If the US is not willing, if it is bent on suppressing and containing China, then we have no choice but to play along to the end. That's according to their foreign minister, Wang Yi. And he made that statement at the Munich Security Conference on Friday. He said, "We will resolutely respond to unilateral bullying practices of the US." The Trump administration imposed 10% tariffs on China days into his second term. Beijing retaliated by targeting a handful of American companies, slapping levies on some US goods and placing export controls on some critical metals. Still, Wang sought to take a longer view of relations with the US, expressing confidence that Beijing and Washington will remain engaged long into the future. We need to strengthen exchanges to boost understanding and build trust. Listen, let the US do what the US want to do. Everybody else do what you have to do. As much as I'm here in the US and I am going to feel the brunt of the decisions, it is what it is. I'm not going to say to any country, bend over backwards, go along with the US. I'm not going to tell anybody to do that. I also have to put myself in their shoes. And I have to respect every other country besides the US doing what is best for them, their economy, their people. It's just how the cookie crumbles. At this point, I don't know if it's right or wrong. It is what it is. All right. That story wraps up stories on the international scene. Time for us to head on to stories out of North America. Before doing so, I want to say a big thank you to everyone listening on QMZRadio.com. For quality music while you work or play, keep it logged on to www.qmzradio.com for that good music to get you through your day. Thank you to our listeners on JanoRadio.com, your non-stop party vibe station. And don't forget to download the Jano Radio app. It is available in your Apple and Google Play stores. And to our listeners on madmusichouse.com for any genre, anytime, I want to say a big thank you. Thank you to everyone watching on YouTube. And thank you to my studio audience, courtesy of Fan Base. And remember to head on over to grantcoffeehouse.com and enjoy 20% off all coffee products. Enter coffee in tow 20 at checkout. Again, enjoy 20% off all coffee products by heading on over to grantcoffeehouse.com and entering coffee in tow 20 at checkout. All right. And Coffee in Tow is brought to you in part by lormelskinfood.com for a natural, beautiful you and Grant Coffee House. From our farms to your cups. All right, time for stories out of North America. 20 minutes after the top of the hour. First up, Trump's plan to free Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. Fannie and Freddie. And it might change the housing market for the better, they're saying. So let's go ahead and take a read here. But let me pin the article on YouTube. Let's see. Fannie and Freddie. So here we go. Okay, USAtoday.com is reporting one of the Trump White House's key policy reforms may be something that touches the lives of millions of Americans, but few know about. The administration will likely attempt to unshackle Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, the mortgage guarantors, from their current positions as ward of the state. That's according to analysts. The new Secretary of Housing and Urban Development, Scott Turner, believes this as well, and confirmed to the Wall Street Journal earlier in February. Housing finance observers see it as an opportunity to fundamentally remake a system that hasn't been able to purge systemic racism embedded in its processes and to close the gap on serving historically marginalized communities. All right, let me stop right there. Let's jump over to Google because I want to make sure we're going to explain Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac properly. All right, so Fannie Mae is a federal national mortgage association. Freddie Mac is a federal home loan mortgage corporation. They are government sponsored enterprises, otherwise known as GSEs, and they play a crucial role in the US housing market by buying mortgages from lenders, bundling them into securities, selling them to investors, thus ensuring liquidity and affordability for home buyers. All right. Okay. So Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. So Fannie and Freddie purchase mortgages from banks and other lenders, allowing those lenders to free up capital to make more loans. All right. What do? They then bundle these mortgages into securities called MBS and turn around and sell them to investors. Fannie and Freddie them guarantee the timely payment of principal and interest on these MBSs, attracting investors to the secondary mortgage market. Now, they also promote home ownership. They do so by making it easier for lenders to sell mortgages. They help ensure a continuous and stable supply of mortgage money, which in turn promotes home ownership and affordability. All right. Okay. Auntie Fannie was established in 1938 to provide a more reliable source of funding for banks. Fannie aimed then to expand home ownership, particularly during the Great Depression. Freddie, in 1970, was established to alleviate interest rate risk for banks and to expand the secondary market for mortgages. All right. So back to the article. Fannie and Freddie play an important role in the housing market by buying mortgages from banks and other lenders. That allows lenders to offload risk, then extend credit to more borrowers, keeping the housing market liquid and more affordable than it would otherwise be. Before the financial crisis, Fannie and Freddie were private companies. As the subprime bubble inflated in the early 2000s, they lowered their underwriting standards to remain competitive. When the bubble burst in 2008, the two enterprises were rushed into government controlled conservatorship. The arrangement was always intended to be temporary, but for nearly 2 decades, the details of unwinding such massive institutions have bedeviled three presidential administrations. Meanwhile, under conservatorship and with a new regulator, the two enterprises have prioritized safety and stability. The sense of stability and safety has led many housing observers to refer to Fannie and Freddie as being utility like, stable, but not innovative. How is this going to, if we get rid of Fannie and Freddie, how is this going to affect someone looking for a mortgage? How, if we dismantle Freddie and Fannie, how are we going to ensure that there is equity, equality? We already know it's skewed, but are we now tossing everything out? Will the opportunity to build wealth through owning a home be made affordable for everybody? Or are we removing that little rug? It's not a huge rug, it's a little one. Are we removing that for everybody? Hmm? Are we going to be able to ensure that everyone can get a sustainable and affordable mortgage if we get rid of Freddie and Fannie? I don't know. And I think these are valid questions. We have people, um, let me hold off. There are some people who are already affected when we talk about arms. Arms are adjustable rate mortgages, right? I don't like them. I don't care for them because your interest rate go up and down, right? So, and then it affects your escrow. That's a whole other conversation for another day, right? But some people are being affected by arms, adjustable rate mortgages. I rather fixed rate mortgage. How will all of this come into play for future homeowners, for existing home owners? Lord McCavan talk. Yeah, a whole world to explore. We don't have the time now to get deeper into it, but we can revisit that one. I want to pin that one so we can revisit it. And I want to do more research because I want to know ultimately how people are going to be affected if it's dismantled. Well, we know how voting affects you. Some people are still in the FAFO, getting the shock of their life moment. Americans face extra electric bill charge following Trump's executive order. It's funny, but it's not funny. It's really not funny, right? According to binnews.com, hundreds of Americans saw a hike in their electric bill following a recent executive order signed by President Donald Trump per Newsweek. Earlier this month, residents who use Huntsville utilities in Alabama, sorry folks, it is what it is, cough up the money, they were sent a letter alerting them that a grant they had previously received was no longer valid due to Trump's executive order. The grant, distributed by the Community Action Partnership of Huntsville, Madison, and Limestone counties for $100 on January 23, 2025, is no longer valid due to President Trump's executive order to rescind the funding behind the grant. The $100 amount was debited to affect to I'm sorry, was debited to affected customers' accounts and will be due on their next invoice. News of the extra electric bill charge came after Trump signed the Unleashing American Energy executive order that directed all agencies to immediately pause the disbursement of funds appropriated through the Inflation Reduction Act of 2022 or the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act. The executive order paused funding from the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act to Alabama's low income hey, Home Energy Assistance Program, which granted the $100 amount to households receiving assistance. Now, families who received the grant in January will have to pay for it in their next electric bill. Why poor people can't stop suffering? Not true. Alabama, how did y'all vote? See, me feel it for us still. We like the poorly educated. Isn't that what we campaigned on over there in some parts of Alabama? Yeah. And now many of them are stunned, shocked, yes, voicing their concerns that they didn't vote for this. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. You did. That's what you voted for. So everybody has to stand the cost. Trump ended the program via the executive order. Yeah, because he said that it was a waste, government waste. So low income people, even though you work hard, work hard, work harder. You voted for billionaires, and this is what you get in return. I don't know what to tell you. These New Jersey stores are making it harder to buy eggs. Let's take a look why. And this article comes to us courtesy of northjersey.com. Yes, and we're still waiting for the price of eggs to come down. The cost of eggs has not come down. We're still at $13 a dozen for decent eggs. Ari, I would appreciate if you could ship us some eggs from Jamaica, please. I can tell you where to get the eggs from. Can tell you which farm to go to get the eggs and just put a shipment together and send them to us up here, please. Still will be cheaper than what we're paying here in Florida. Grocery stores across New Jersey are making it harder to snag extra eggs by enacting a purchase limit, as a deadly outbreak of avian flu has caused a strain in supply, leaving grocery store shelves empty and driving up prices. Walmart, Trader Joe's, and Costco, which have several locations across the Garden State, are the latest in a handful of retailers scrambling to keep eggs in stock while limiting purchases to curb customer hoarding. Trader Joe's is limiting egg purchases to one carton per customer per day to ensure shoppers who need eggs are able to purchase them when they shop. The egg crisis has been documented heavily on social media, with customers disheartened by empty shelves and skyrocketing prices. Well, I don't know. Is RFK addressing a same name? Is RFK addressing the egg flu, the chicken flu, the avian flu? What is RFK doing about that so we can have our eggs? Can the chickens need vaccines? I don't know. Or what do the chickens need to overcome the flu? Can we give the chickens some burnt orange? Can we roast some oranges and squeeze the juice and give the chicken a concoction of the chickens a concoction of turmeric, burnt orange, garlic. What else we for putting at the concoction for the chicken them? Cause I think we need to do something because whatever them doing not working. Can we give them nature's remedy, please? And thank you. So we can get the eggs back on the shelves and get the prices down from $13. Can we get them back down to $5 a dozen at least or less? Please and thank you. Oh, I'm sorry. We have to go to NASCAR. That's more important, right? Next up, the government in the US tries to rehire the nuclear staff it fired days ago. I saw a comment where somebody said the whole US said that the entire US just need a huge reset. So probably that's not a bad idea. If nobody go back, they go work. This is a serious matter, folks. Very serious matter. How do you wake up and say you're going to fire everybody that works at the nuclear plant? How many of them gone back to work? Do we have any updates? Let me jump on here and see if we have any updates to the nuclear staff rehiring and asking um management to see if they can reach out to these employees to get them back. They don't want to come back. Would you go back? Hold on, I'm checking. A headline. Some of them opting for in-person talk. Some federal workers are changing behavior under Trump. They're turning off their phones. Can you blame them, folks? Seriously, can you blame them? How you gonna fire me and then want to talk back to me? No, boo. Keep it moving. Oh, wow. A 5.0 magnitude earthquake sends tremors across western Texas. Hope everyone is safe. Um, Two homeless children in frigid Detroit died. Oh my gosh. All right, I'm looking for an update with the nuclear thing because it's a serious matter we're dealing with here. We're laughing, but we can't laugh. Hold on. Bear with me there. Okay, I'm not seeing anything there. So, all right, I have to check elsewhere. So, the US government, according to BBC.com, is trying to let me check TikTok. Them always have the news up to date. The US government is trying to rehire nuclear why I go on TikTok and see something, folks. Work the ADD are chipping. Holy moly, he wasn't joking. Trump just called for Congress to abolish the income tax. You abolish income tax and then you have to pay 30% tax at checkout. But anyway, let me stay focused. The US government is trying to rehire nuclear safety employees it had fired on Thursday after concerns grew that their dismissal could jeopardize national security. This is according to a US media report. Ah, Lord of mercy, the National Nuclear Security Administration workers were among hundreds of employees in the Energy Department who received termination letters. The department is responsible for designing, building, and overseeing the U.S. nuclear weapons stockpile. The terminations are part of a massive effort by President Donald Trump to slash the ranks of the federal workforce, a project he began on his first day in office less than a month ago. U.S. media reported that more than 300 NNSA staff were let go, citing sources with knowledge of the matter. The Thursday layoffs included staff stationed at facilities where weapons are built. It's a serious matter and I should not be working. Last week, nearly 10,000 federal workers were let go across several agencies. Anyway, a memo sent to NNSA employees on Friday and obtained by NBC News read the termination letters for some NNSA probationary employees. And probationary doesn't mean that you're within a 6-week period. It means that you're some of them over there for over a year. Okay. All right. So for some probationary employees are being rescinded, but we do not have a good way to get in touch with those personnel. Please work with your supervisors to send this information once you get it to people's personal contact emails. Yeah, FAFO. So who was it that recommended to him to get rid of the staff at the National Nuclear Security Administration? Who advised him? Because what I was also seeing in news articles was that um the administration was unaware of the job function of these people. Please tell me this is not so. Nuclear. And you're going to tell me, say, the administration unaware. So all the people in the Republican Party who have been there for over, some of them are gobbleneck turkeys. They've been there from Jesus was a little boy. Some of them on one have 1 foot out and 1 foot in. You tell me, say, none of them never know the importance of the staff at the National Nuclear Security Administration? Or is it that they knew, but they couldn't permeate the circle around the president to advise him accordingly, or he did not seek advice from everyone in Congress? I'm not understanding, because this makes absolutely zero sense to me. I wonder if they understand the seriousness of what they have done and how you have left the country open for anything to happen to it. We have planes dropping out the sky like never before, and I'm speaking like our president now, like never before. We have seen planes dropping out of the sky like never before, but we're cutting FAA staff. And then what happened now when you have one person manning a traffic air traffic control tower, and things start colliding left, right, and center? You're going to blame that one person? Oh, Lord, help us, Father. I don't know. This is where we are. Welcome to 2025. This is the US. Time for business and tech news, and our business and tech news is brought to you by grandcoffeehouse.com. From our farms to your cups. And remember, you can head on over to www.grandcoffeehouse.com and enjoy 20% off all coffee products. Yeah, all you got to do is enter the code coffee into 20 for your 20% off. Again, head on over to www.grandcoffeehouse.com and enjoy 20% off all coffee products by using the code coffee into 20. Why are US banks flying gold from London to New York? Pray tell. Let's go ahead and pin this one on Hmm. And if you don't know, yes, London stores a lot of the gold in the world. I guess their underground is the most secure, probably. But according to the independent.com, deep under London's Threadneedle Street, they're telling you where to find your gold, folks, lies an intricate network of tunnels holding the world's second largest depository of gold. The Bank of England's 9 heavily fortified vaults hold hundreds of tons of the precious metal valued at over 200 billion pounds. Wow. But now they are slowly being emptied over fears that President Donald Trump is about to start a global trade war. Much of the gold has been shipped to New York City, where the commodity is for the moment worth substantially more than in the UK capital. The US bank JP Morgan and the UK's HSBC are two of the biggest names flying the precious metal across the Atlantic to cover losses on short positions. This is according to a report from Wall Street Journal. The disruption to the gold market and subsequent movement of bullion from London to Manhattan appears to be a consequence of Trump's looming tariff threats against imports from the European Union entering the US. This past week, the president has already announced sweeping 25% import taxes on two other metals, steel and aluminum. Traders are now nervous that Trump will impose tariffs on gold. Okay, gold futures in the Big Apple have risen 11% this year, closing on Thursday at $2,935 a troy ounce. Some analysts predict they could soon hit a record high of $3,000 a troy ounce. Roughly 8,000 bars are believed to have been moved out of the bank's vaults over the past few months, equating to about 2% of its total stock. Wow, interesting. All this gold. How much each of us has in gold? Because some of the gold they belong to everybody that invests in these banks, no? Hmm. The gold is first shuttled to the airport in high strength vans before being sent to Swiss refiners to recast. They have to recast them due to COMEX contracts requiring different bar sizing. They have to do all of that before them fly to the US. I know, folks, we're not going to tell you which airline them fly on. Next thing, we're going to go set up to try to thief the little gold. But why would the US have to store their gold in the UK if they have the facilities here? Why in the UK? Is it that the UK facility is more secure than the US facility? Oh, I don't understand why. I don't get it, but they must know why. All right, next up, here's a potential winner from the.
What was the question, Moments?
Why is it that the US is storing their gold in the UK? Why can't it be stored here in the US? Is it that the
Well,
UK facilities are more secure?
not necessarily. Why are they bringing it back here? Because there's an arbitrage opportunity. So by moving the gold from the UK to the US, they get to make a riskless profit based on valuations. But that's another story. But they get to make a profit. So sometimes they move it around like that.
But who does it cost to move it around? What's the cost was implied?
Well,
Because
given
there has to be a
okay,
cost.
so the cost to move it around is a transaction cost. So what you're looking at, the difference in valuation minus the transaction cost still yield you a profit. Otherwise, they wouldn't do it. It's called an arbitrage opportunity.
Because listen, remember in the article, there are steps. Them have to hire high strength vans to transport it to one facility for them to recast it. So there is a cost implied there. Then to transfer it from the facility to the airport to put it on planes. And these have to be secured planes. Okay. And then when it get to the US, more costs implied. What can I say? Oh boy.
Yeah, but even taking the cost into consideration, they're still making a profit. Otherwise, they wouldn't do it.
So it's like buying stock on I'm trying to see how best to explain it. It's like it's you're buying and selling a commodity, so to speak.
Yes, but that's why on exchanges, um, they mark to market pretty quickly so that even if it's on separate exchange, the same asset should not be worth a different price from one exchange to the next. Because what it allows you is to buy on one and sell on the other.
Mhm.
But usually, even if there is a slight difference, the transaction cost makes it not worth the while. But if there is if you could buy and sell and cover your transaction costs, and there is still a price difference, that price difference give you a profit.
Mhm.
So people take advantage of it. So I could borrow a stock from you, okay, sell it somewhere else, pay you back, and take the profit without having to risk anything.
Mhm.
So that's why they mark to market in such a way that there is no arbitrage opportunity or very little, or the arbitrage opportunity is such that the transaction cost would make it not viable.
And when you talk about two different markets, aka UK versus US, there's a huge opportunity. huge opportunity. But anyway,
No, it looks so, but there's not much opportunity
you
for
don't think
arbitrage.
so? Okay.
No, there hardly any big opportunity for arbitrage during between the exchanges.
Okay.
Otherwise, otherwise it make the market inefficient.
All right. I'll go with you on that one.
But this gold present an arbitrage opportunity. I don't know, maybe because
Uh-huh.
of the volatility and stuff like that.
We have it. There we go. There we go. All right, next up, here's a potential winner from the Trump tariffs: American tourists traveling abroad. This one comes to us courtesy of CNBC.com. Almost just said NBC, CNBC.com. So, as economists ring alarm bells over the impact of President Donald Trump's tariff policy on consumers and the US economy, there's a group of Americans who may benefit: tourists traveling abroad. That is due to the impact of tariffs on the US dollar and other global currencies. Economists expect tariffs imposed on foreign imports to strengthen the US dollar and potentially weaken major currencies like the euro. In such a case, travelers would have more buying power overseas in 2025, economists have said. Their dollar would stretch further on purchases like lodging, dining out, and guided tours that are denominated in the local currency. Tariffs, all else equal, are good for the US dollar. That's according to James Riley, senior market economist at Capital Economics. The nominal broad US dollar index in January hit its highest monthly level on record, dating to at least 2006. The index gauges the dollar's strength against currencies of the US's main trading partners like the euro, Canadian dollar, and Japanese yen. Meanwhile, the ICE US dollar index, another popular measure of the strength of the US dollar, is up more than 3% since Trump's election day win. Trump on Thursday, as we all know, laid out a plan to impose retaliatory tariffs against trading partners on a country by country basis. Specific levies will depend on the outcome of a Commerce Department review, which officials expect to be completed by April 1. And as we are hearing over and over again, meanwhile, Trump has imposed an additional 10% tariff on Chinese goods. A 25% duty on all steel and aluminum imports is set to take effect March 4. Further, a 25% tariff on Canada and Mexico may take force in March after being paused for 30 days. All right, so why are tariffs good for the US dollar? They're saying tariffs, even the threat of them, can bolster the dollar relative to other currencies in a few ways. One key way is via interest rates, specifically the differential between one nation's interest rates and another. Tariffs are generally viewed as inflationary since the import duties are expected to raise consumer prices, at least in the short term, the economists are saying. The Federal Reserve would likely keep interest rates elevated to keep a lid on US inflation, which hasn't yet fallen back to policymakers' target level after soaring in the pandemic era. Travel, folks. Long and short of it is travel and go on abroad, go make your money stretch further, enjoy life. That's the upshot of the entire thing. All right. Next up, according to a report, undocumented workers helped to build Elon Musk's business empire. Wasn't he undocumented at one point? So why should we be alarmed at this report? I really don't know. But we're going to go ahead and get into this one. This article is courtesy of, let's see if we can squeeze this one before we get off air. This one courtesy of Cron.com. Tesla CEO Elon Musk has been a harsh critic of open borders and is making headlines for demonizing undocumented people in the United States. However, per a new report from Bloomberg Business Week, he has benefited from the labor of undocumented workers for years as they have regularly worked at Tesla's Gigafactory Yeah, that's over there in Austin, Texas, by the way. Is that the same Texas where the governor does not like immigrants at all? Undocumented especially? Interesting, isn't it? But anyway, labor performed by undocumented immigrants started shortly after the Tesla Gigafactory broke ground in 2020. Construction contractors were reportedly told to check for authorization, but Tesla didn't ensure contractors followed instructions. As a result, undocumented workers were employed by outside companies to work at Tesla and SpaceX facilities. Some undocumented workers who spoke with Bloomberg reported unfavorable working conditions, an issue that labor groups have kept an eye on. One worker, identified only as Christy, is being represented by the Workers' Defense Project after she was fired from a Tesla subcontractor. Her termination came after she had a heat stroke and fainted at work. Later, filing complaints with the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, also known as OSHA, over alleged unsafe working conditions and retaliation. Tesla and SpaceX's reliance on some undocumented workers isn't particularly unique in Texas, where more than 8% of the workforce is undocumented. And construction is the industry with the highest share of immigrant workers. So, Texas, tell me, 8%, that sounds like a large number. How are you going to manage now? Um, that your undocumented community has dwindled. Hmm. But Musk, who spent at least $260 million to support President Donald Trump's re-election campaign as he proposed restrictive immigration policies, has become increasingly vocal on immigration issues, even as his companies grow in Texas. I'm gonna tell you something. Mega said this. Um, agree or not, immigration issues aren't going anywhere. They are here to stay. Go back to other presidents. Go back to other presidents. Immigration has been a campaigning tool. Yes, let's go. We can go back to Clinton. Not true. Sad but true. A lot of the rhetoric being spewed right now by our current president and this administration was spewed by Clinton back in the day. Yeah, it was. But let us be honest with ourselves. We all suffer from short term memory. Let us not pretend. We all suffer from short term memory. Back in Clinton's time, hundreds, I think 1,500, if I'm not mistaken, of boots on the ground were put at the border. When was Clinton in? Was it the 80s, 90s? When was he in again? Remind me of the date. But the same speech is like a copy and paste speech. There are similarities, folks. There are similarities. So let me get it right. Because this will show you that nothing has changed as far as immigration is concerned, and nothing will ever change. His presidential term was 1993 to 2001. I saw that right, according to Google. From 1993 to 2000. 8 years that? Yeah. That was his term. Nothing has changed since 1993. If the government, and when I say the government, I'm speaking about whoever is in power, whether it be Republican or Democrat, cared to do anything about immigration, they would have done so a long time ago. It is used as a tool to scare people, to drive fear into people. to make money off of people. Immigration lawyers. Oh, by the way, you see, how many immigration attorneys have been sacked by President Trump? Did you all see that one? Yeah, that happened over the weekend too. Immigration judges not on job this morning. Oh, that mercy. But yeah, it's a talking point, and voters need to be fully aware and start. And we really need to remember these things. And with our memory, move accordingly. Make choices accordingly. Remind the politicians that, hey, we can go back to 1993. We have been hearing the same rhetoric since 1993 at least, and nothing has changed. So you know something? Enough. 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 We are fully aware that the undocumented community in this country play a significant role from an economic standpoint. It has allowed many a wealthy to become wealthy and wealthier. It has allowed a lot of people to be able to keep their businesses afloat. Now, make go fool you. Strip away the undocumented community from the United States of America. How many of us are going to do the jobs that many undocumented people come here and now watch no face them get up and every day go do? How many of us are going to do the jobs for the pay that they get? There's one cattle farmer up in forget where the place is. The story was related to me yesterday. There's one cattle farmer who his undocumented workers are not showing up, and you can't blame them. And then the American come and say they want $150,000 a year for the cattle work, for the cattle farm work. Which cattle farmer can really afford to pay? He has like what, 200 or 300 heads of cattle, can afford to pay $150,000. It takes 2 years from calf to maturity. So I must pay you $150,000 a year, $300,000 in a 2 year, and I'm not going to recoup that. And you are going to be monitoring 20 head of cattle. I'm not going to recoup that. So Americans are asking for some ridiculous amount of pay. Now go take the job because them now go get what them are asked. So what is to happen to the cattle in the meantime? How are we? What's to happen? Me say, leave the undocumented alone. Give them permits. Depending on how long they're here, they've never got in trouble. You can show so them pay them taxes. Let's say after 5 years, them show so them pay them taxes. Give them their citizenship. Give them a permit for 5 years. After 5 years, good behavior, make sure they're not getting in trouble. You give them what you call a green card. And then they can work towards citizenship. Stop criminalizing the undocumented people who are here doing nothing but making it affordable for us to be able to buy groceries. Making it affordable, quote unquote, for us to buy homes. Because without the undocumented, the same house with 250,000 is now going to be 500,000. We can't go buy the house. It's a no-brainer, and I think they know this, but it serves them better to criminalize the undocumented community. It's an easy fix. And the other part to it, fix the countries whose economies have been upended because of sanctions and what have you that has been placed on these countries where most of the undocumented people are coming from. It's an easy fix. Easy. You don't want them here? Fix their countries. They will stay. Coming up tomorrow in our business and tech segment, U.S. consumer debt delinquency hits the highest in almost 5 years. And you know something? I totally forgot to do the on-air wrap-up. I know we're no longer on air. We got kicked off at 1 o'clock. Lord have mercy. I totally forgot. Totally forgot. But yeah, coming up tomorrow in our business and tech segment, US consumer debt delinquency hits its highest in almost 5 years, and it's going to continue. It's not going to stop. It's not going to stop. Not for now. As long as there's going to be inflation and the increasing cost of living, people are going to become more reliant on debt. And you want to know why people are reliant on debt so heavily? Because the pay what them a make cannot sustain them. And it's not that people aren't working hard. There are people who genuinely work hard. There are some people who are working 2 jobs, 3 jobs. But at the end of the day, they still cannot make ends meet. They still have to rely on debt to be able to put food on the table, to be able to put gas in their vehicles. They're constantly, every month, robbing Peter to pay Paul. That's the America we're in. That's the life we're living. We operate in debt. We're a debt-ridden functioning society. Can you imagine if we were ever to get rid of debt? People would probably be confused. They'd be like, oh my gosh, something is off here. We're debt-ridden, and as such, we're stressed out. Time for health and science news, brought to you by LormelSkinFood.com. Discover the range of natural skincare solutions. Indulge in the radiance of natural and organic beauty with the best natural and organic soap bars, whipped soaps, body butters, and oils. All 100% natural products. Lormel Skin Food for a natural, beautiful you. Kind of an odd one for me to bring up. Meet the world's healthcare billionaires. Yes, you heard right. Billionaires off of you and me. Ah, boy. Can you imagine healthcare billionaires when many people are struggling to afford medication, basics? When Medicaid and Medicare benefits are being rolled back. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into this. First up, Thomas Frist Jr., net worth $28.8 billion. Carl Cook, net worth $15.8 billion. Robert Bob Dugan, $14.7 billion. Patrick Soon Shiong, $11 billion. Rhonda Stryker, $10.6 billion. Pat Stryker, you sick yet? Or you feel good all of a sudden? I hope you're all feeling well by now. Yeah. And they have the nerve to say nearly half of the planet's billionaires are poorer than they were a year ago. Huh? Really? Poorer? How can you be poorer? How can you be poorer when people are struggling to pay for medication, struggling to pay for health care? Wasn't it? Hold on. Didn't Biden sign a thing where collection that wouldn't show up on your credit reports? Yeah, and that is being reversed. But really and truly, if you live in the US and you ever get a bill from the hospital, if you have ever had to stay in the hospital, you have no choice but to be in the hospital. Have you ever looked at the bill? Take a look at your bill. Take a look at your bill. It will send you right back to the hospital. Stress. You start feel pain in your chest. One painkiller. Mhm. So we have these billionaires in the healthcare industry, and they don't care. They want more. They're complaining that they made less last year compared to the previous year. So shouldn't that tell you folks that you have to do what you can to take good care of yourselves? Please. Please take care of yourselves. Make the best choices when you go to the supermarkets. or the open air markets, wherever you buy your food and your fruits, your nuts and your grains, your herbs and your spices. My takeaway from that is the healthcare industry in the US is not in the business of making you feel better, of healing you. It's just putting a band aid on you. Can you imagine? Billions of dollars. And we're here struggling to make ends meet. That's capitalism for you, right? They can go a good 10 years without making another dollar. They can't exhaust all that money that they have made. You know, when I saw the article yesterday, I thought to myself, what if everybody who owned a mega corporation or owned a corporation, that makes a lot of money, say, something, I'm just going to live off $1 million a month. And the rest, yes, I'm going to put a portion into research and development, a portion into growth, a portion into acquiring acquisitions. But the majority of it I want to put into my staff. What if every billionaire said, something? I'm going to pay everybody equally in my company, whether your job is to clean the floor or to manage. Everybody get $1 million a month or $1 million a year. Let me not be extreme. $1 million a year. Isn't it doable? It's doable. All right, probably not too much. Cut it down. $500,000. Everybody get the same money. You'd call me crazy, not true? Yeah, I'd be called crazy. How dare I think like along those lines? But why should some be living lavishly and others struggling within an organization? And at the end of the day, everybody within that organization is a necessary arm of the organization. Like the body has many parts, right? You need your toes, you need your feet, you need your ankles, you need your legs, your thighs, your hips, your back, your bottom, your chest, your stomach, your arms, your fingers, your hands. We need every part of our body, our eyes, ears, nose, tongue, teeth, eyebrow. As much as we shave our eyebrows off, yes, they're needed, ladies, to keep the sweat from running down into our eyes. Every part of our body is needed so that we can function effectively. So too in an organization, everyone is needed. We need the person who keeps the bathrooms clean to do so for us, because the person at the top don't have the time to come and clean the bathrooms for us. We need the person at the front desk, the greeter, who is the face of the company. That's the first point of interaction when someone walks through the doors. They're very important. You need the secretaries, the administrative assistants who do the scheduling. We need the supervisors who oversee the staff members to see to it that productivity is on point. We need the security guard who lifts up the thing or presses the button for the gate to open. Everybody is necessary. So how about we divvy it up equally? Am I being unreasonable? Probably. Doable? Yes. We choose not to do it. That's what it is. We choose not to do it. We choose to have the scales. I'm utopianistic in my idea. And so the more you live and the more you observe and the more aware you become and the more you pay attention and the more you think and the more you process. Yeah. How can you work at a company? And I know I'm going off a little bit on a tangent, but how can you work at a company and you bust your ass and you do overtime? Because if you don't do overtime, You can't make ends meet because the base pay is not enough. And then you who kill yourself to make your boss look good, your immediate boss look good, so that your boss, because you do a good job, to make him look good, to make the department look good, your boss is up for bonus from Christmas time or holiday time. Your boss will get an end of year bonus because he did a good job, and that good job was only because of us here. And then you are told within the last quarter, so we have to tighten up over time and blah blah blah. And you're only doing that as a boss to present a report to your boss to make sure you will get your bonus, and you not care nothing about your employees that help to make you look good. Something wrong with that picture there. I know I sound like I'm rambling, right? But it happens. Supervisors don't advocate for their subordinates. They advocate for themselves. Managers don't advocate for their supervisors. They advocate for themselves. I talk about a company already in Texas. I think the company is in Texas years ago. Yes, everybody don't get the same pay, but everybody get the same bonus pay or profit sharing. I forgot the industry that they're in. But the last I know, everybody from the janitor up, everybody got something like $250,000 from holiday time. It can be done, folks. Capitalists choose not to do it. They rather sit and look at their profits. They rather to sit and look at their ledgers and pull up their bank accounts and look and say, yes, and then come and brag to you, the employees, about how much net profit was made and how much they were able to save here, there, and the other place. When the truth of they don't care. But I'll let go of my utopianistic mindset. Let me do that. Sorry. Ranting. Next up. Believe it or not, stores. I'm gonna tell you, desperation is a hell of a thing, you know. And it don't matter if you're rich or you're poor. We all are desperate in some way at some point. No, what could have made me want to do this? But let me not judge the man. The man is doing what he needs to get back what he needs. According to CNN.com, buried deep in a Welsh landfill, beneath layers of years old garbage, there is a hard drive that holds the key to almost $800 million in Bitcoin. Or so James Howells believes, after accidentally throwing the drive away in 2013. And now after years of battling the local authority in court to retrieve the hard drive, Howells has come up with a new plan. He's going to buy the landfill. I'm considering purchasing a landfill site, funding secured. He made the statement on X, echoing comments by him that were widely reported in the UK media on Monday, though he didn't say who was providing the funding. Buy the landfill. Buy the landfill. Because but then buy the landfill and then clear the landfill and it's sitting gone. He said he accidentally threw out the crucial hard drive in August 2013 when he was clearing out his house, thinking it was a blank drive that contained no data. He put it in a trash bag that he left in the hallway for his then partner to take to the garbage dump before he realized, as the value of the Bitcoin rose, that he had disposed of the wrong one. Since then, the value of the Bitcoin, Howell says, is loaded onto the hard drive has skyrocketed from around $9 million to $800 million as prices of cryptocurrency have soared in recent years. I wonder if somebody else found it. Buy it here, my friend. Buy it. Because I'm going to tell you, you're not going to find that. Somebody gone with that. The council has told Mr. Howells on a number of occasions that excavation is not possible under our licensing permit, and excavation itself would have a huge environmental impact on the surrounding area. I don't know what to tell you, my friend. Galanga dig, find and dig. Happy digging. Ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of our show for today, Coffee in Tow. And let me go ahead and end the YouTube live stream. Don't forget to share, like, comment, and encourage others to subscribe to the Coffee in Tow YouTube channel. We will be back with you, God willing, tomorrow morning at 9:30 a.m. on YouTube. And if you'd like to listen live, the live stream on internet radio, qmzradio.com, janoradio.com, and madmusichouse.com starts at 9 a.m. Also, I invite you to head on over to the Coffee in Tow website. We have a lot of information over there. You can catch up on past episodes. Take a look at all the stories that we were not able to cover on air. There are links there to other stories. We also have a resources page where you can get important information. And just a reminder, the Caribbean Canada Leaders Dialogue application for that program closes on March the 1st. There is also another application for which the program closes on March the 7th rather, and that is for the 2025 Global Career Scholarship. We also have another one, the Caribbean Future Skills Fund. Information is there, and that is a joint program with Canada and the Caribbean. Certain Caribbean countries, check that out. So those links are there for you. Please take advantage of the links. If the information is not for you, pass it on to someone else. All right. So head on over to coffeeintow.com. We also added another page to coffeeintow.com where you can, it's a page called subscribe. We have put the YouTube links there for our supporters, everyone who is a part of the Coffee in Tow family on fan base. We have their links there over there on our website. So you can head on over to Coffee in Tow, go to the subscribe tab, and that will allow you to subscribe to Adesoji Speaks Knowledge, Carib 21 Network, Lormel Skin Food, Mad Libra, Naturalist Entertainment, Phoenix Media, Teflon Travels, and PWG Lens. If any of you here with me on Fanbase has a YouTube channel and you have it up and running and you'd like us to share, by all means, let us know. All right, let us know, please and thank you. So again, that's our newest page available on coffeeintow.com. You can head over there, hit the subscribe tab, and all our family and friends of Coffee in Tow, their YouTube channels are pinned there. So it makes it easy for you to subscribe to everybody and find out what's going on. Keep abreast of what's going on. All right. We also have the shop page where you can go to shoplormelskinfood.com as well as grantcoffeehouse.com. And remember, Grant Coffee House has a special going where you can get 20% off all coffee products by using the code coffeeintow20 at checkout. All right. So see you tomorrow, YouTube Live. Going to go ahead and end the YouTube live stream. Coffee in Tow is an interactive world news podcast, a dynamic and engaging live show that streams across multiple internet radio stations worldwide. This podcast brings you real-time news updates, in-depth analysis, and interactive discussions on global events, making you a part of the conversation no matter where you are. With a diverse range of expert guests and listener participation, it's your go-to source for staying informed and connected to the world. Coffee in Tow is brought to you in part by Lormel Skin Food. Log on to lormelskinfood.com. Discover the range of natural skincare solutions. Indulge in the radiance of natural and organic beauty with the best natural and organic soap bars, whipped soaps, body butters and oils, all 100% natural products. Lormel Skin Food for a natural, beautiful you. The world's best coffee from our farms to your cup. It's Grand Coffee House.